All right, boys, we're streaming now live on YouTube.
We are live
well,
on
it's
YouTube.
somewhat live, but they have to. It has to go through the censors. So don't play any copyrighted material.
No copyrighted
because
material,
I get
brother.
in trouble. Don't play any Misfits. Fuck it, play Misfits all you want.
So dedicate your entire set. I'm gonna bump this down to the last 20 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, get your opening song ready. Let's make this happen.
Okay.
6:59.
Okay. As soon as you take off that music and I can play mine. On your marks, get set, go. Good morning. It's time once again for the Jeff Sargent Show. Only an hour away from Hollywood.
Or anywhere else of
So get your
interest.
asses down here, man. Only on Chaotic Radio.
Our first guest.
With our co-host, Janky.
Bless you, my son. Wake your ass up, Rancho Cucamonga, and the rest of
And the
bro.
man behind the glass. The guy that holds this ship together,
Look,
man.
Adolf Eichmann on Trail in
Our
Israel.
captain. our leader.
Our machismo. Our soul. Our heart.
Producer Dan
Dan the Man Rupp.
Good morning, and good morning to the UK, to our listeners in the UK.
Dougie.
And, yeah, Dougie, Peter in the UK, and Linda, and our listeners in Australia. That we got a few, and
Woo! Wipes them down today, gang.
all my friends in rehab that's still listening.
All the ships at sea. All my friends in rehab.
I was at rehab this morning, and all the guys listened to the show.
I would like to thank all the men I was incarcerated with for 4 years in Chino prison. Even those two guys in that shower thing we don't talk about. I want to thank Dan the Man Rupp. Amazingly, our guest, despite bearing a strong resemblance to our host, Jeffrey Sargent, this guy is actually smart and cool.
Yeah.
So we have Edward Loveless. Is that your real last name?
Lawless.
Oh, shit.
Come on, get it right.
Loveless.
Lawless.
Edward
it's your
Lawless,
fault.
our guest today.
Edward Lawless, yeah, it's your fault. You mentioned Nikki and Wasp. So after that,
Yeah. Okay. Now, Edward here, he's a writer. He's got this screenplay and this script going, but he's a studio guitar player. He gives guitar lessons. He's a guitar player. He's a pro. He's got everything going on.
And if you can see him on YouTube, he's completely blind. His German Shepherd can't come in as chaotic, doesn't believe in service animals.
This guy is up there with Satriani and Steve Vai and all those guys.
In fact, Jeff said those guys were pussies compared to you, Edward.
Yeah, I actually think they totally suck.
And he showed up early, which is
And he
always
showed up early.
great, because I hate when the guests come in like, half hour late. We're like sitting here trying to talk about something.
Well,
He
It's
beat
okay.
all three of us.
yeah,
It's okay, like the first 15 minutes, because we do our shtick, our introduction like we just did. But now he's already right. Now we're ready to go, man. What's up, Edward?
Hey, we're ready to rock.
Tell us who you are, man.
All right.
Yeah, in so many words, tell us who the
Okay,
great Edward
tell
Lawless
him
is.
make sure it's a side feed on microphone. So
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
talk-
I think he knows all about studio microphones. Like he's in the studio every day.
I am in the studio every day. That's actually very accurate. That's like my whole life, the studio right now. So what do? I do a lot of production work, and I've done a lot of production work for like 7 or 8 years.
Unlike what shows? Tell us.
Nothing you guys would probably know.
No,
Like
don't be so
pilots.
sure.
Well, you never know. it's like background and production stuff where I do like cinematography. I've worked on pilots, like lots of reality TV, a lot like indie films.
Are we talking the
like
Fleiss brothers? Are we talking Mike Fleiss?
No. What I'm basically I just do kind of production work around Hollywood for just various productions that pay me for just like to.
Soundtracks, right?
Yeah,
you do some soundtracks.
Yeah, I do soundtracks as well. I just do a ton of stuff concerning entertainment.
But you're finding locations for them, right, Edward?
Yeah. A lot of times I do cinematography. I'll just give you a little bit about my background.
Yeah, you're a you do DP.
You
didn't mention that. Okay.
I'm a DP. I direct and I write for productions that hire me out. But lately, for the last year, I've been just generally working on my own project. So I just have had more time and just the way life is going.
Describe this project, sir.
Yeah, okay. So what am I working on? It's a film that I wrote in film school. It's one of the 3 or 4 films that I wrote, and this is the cheapest one to put together. So it's a film noir. It's not a high-budget film. So I decided to follow the path of least resistance and develop the one that would cost the least amount of money. So it's basically a film noir, a modern day one set a couple years into the future, but it's very much in the style of L.A. Confidential. A lot like Chinatown. It's a lot like Chinatown. It's a lot like, also I would say, Basic Instinct. The main character is a female.
Really?
And,
have you cast her yet?
No, I have. I've had a bunch of auditions, but none of them have turned out. I've actually shot scenes out of this film. The premise of the film, right? I've shot this film already a couple times, just scenes out of it with actors in spots a few years back. The premise of this film. Basically about a crazy female psychologist, maybe in her late 30s. We'll call her Michelle Smith. And the premise of the entire film is that she's a hypnotherapist and a psychologist in Beverly Hills. She has a young male patient that she really, really dislikes a lot, despises. And under hypnosis, under hypnotherapy, she convinces him to get more depressed and commit suicide. Right? That's
just out of boredom?
Huh?
Just out of boredom she does this?
No, there's some motivational issues. She's got some issues from her childhood past, and it's sort of addressed in the film. But basically, that's the premise here, is we have sort of a batshit crazy, very hot chick from Beverly Hills that offs a young male patient through hypnosis without any physical evidence.
I think I've met a lot of them. They're all batshit crazy, man.
Yeah. Now, some would even say you don't really have to be under hypnosis to get a hot chick to do crazy stuff.
To get you to destroy yourself.
Exactly. In fact, I had a really high-end hypnotist help me with the script here, and he's the one that actually mentioned that to me while we were working on the script. That he's like, women don't really need hypnosis to get what they want.
No.
It goes all the way back to Simpsons and all.
There's a thing called
I hate
assets.
to interrupt. One thing, Jeff, you have to do the phone number.
Oh, yes. Let's do that in my radio voice. Hi, this is Jeff Sargent from Chaotic Radio. Call in our station and talk to our guest. 909-360-8330.
This is still Jeff Sargent. I said 909-360-8330.
And then I got a text from down under from Australia.
It goes all over the world, Edward.
Wow.
Her name
Impressive.
is Linda. She listens all the time.
Hubba hubba.
She says, "You're hot."
Thank you.
Not us. Our guest.
That
Our
hurts.
guest.
Well, that's getting pretty close to
Linda.
me because
Thank
he's
you,
like
Linda.
my stunt double now.
You've just insulted him and his mother.
She goes, "Wow, I can't believe how hot he is." And that's all she said.
Hey, tell
We thought
her.
you meant you thought you.
Tell her.
We thought you meant us, you traitorous wench.
Hey, tell her. Wait till he plays guitar, okay? And then she's gonna melt.
Then you will truly be his slave.
Even when I see guys play guitar, like my friend Steve Alba,
He blows bubbles. He don't impress me.
no, he impresses me, man. I mean, I melt.
You know what impresses me?
Well,
His sister,
you're-
Jessica Alba.
Wait till this guy gets started, okay?
Then Linda will pant looking at her YouTube and say, "Cranky."
Yeah, she'll be licking her her
She'll
string.
say, "Cranky." He's
mom
like
is-
Steve Irwin. Should the late Steve Irwin still be alive?
Whoa.
Thank you.
This is great.
Oh, what's that? Dan held him a note. Don't tell the guest the poo-poo platter is from yesterday.
Now, Edward, I know you probably been going to the NAMM shows all the time, every year.
You know what? Everybody I know goes there but me, but I'll be going this year.
Good. I will be going this year too, because I could have gone last year, but I didn't even realize. I should call up.
Oh, you're gonna
call up Mr. D'Addario.
Please let me in.
D'Addario, the string maker.
I don't play any other strings since I've done business with him and built that guitar for him. I will not wear my Ernie Ball string T-shirt anymore.
I'm Jeff Sargent. Please let me in.
You make guitars. That's pretty amazing.
I've never been to a NAMM show, so I don't even know what it is.
They're pretty nuts.
It's a show for all vendors,
like nerds
for guitar. No,
Is it
every
Comic-Con? Is it
musician,
like a Guitar Con for nerds?
everybody that sells music equipment
goes there. It's
Oh,
a convention.
okay. That's
It's
cool.
a convention for musicians, for manufacturers, but a lot of musicians go since we use their gear.
Yeah, it's
And
not
there's a
open
lot
to the public.
No,
It's
not
very
open
hard to
the
get
public. You
into.
have to be invited in, and you have to have the email. You have to be registered, and it's pretty expensive too to go there. You can start to. I think that's one of the reasons I haven't gone recently.
Yeah, my buddy, he supplies all of our PA systems. I think it's guy, this poster's right behind you.
Line 6.
Line 6, Robert. Yeah,
The Spider
he
amp.
goes all the time, and he invites me, and I just haven't. I'm not a musician. I just haven't.
You're in the
gone.
Yeasty Boys. Your hands out balloons. Of course you're a
Yeah,
musician. You're the
that's how
Pete
it
Best of the Yeasty Boys.
But how long? Okay, how long have you been playing guitar, man?
I've been playing guitar for a long time, probably since I was around 14 years old. Since
Okay.
Since I heard like Motley Crue
Twisted
and
Sister. I heard you start singing.
yeah, Twisted Sister and Motley Crue and Metallica, and I mean I was very young, 7th grade, I think, when I picked up when I pretty much all the bad influences in my life led right to the guitar.
Wow. You know, the destructive women he was talking about.
It's a slippery slope, the guitar.
No, when did you the guitar, amazingly. Oh, closer to Mike, me or Edward?
Oh,
Get in the
Edward.
mic, man.
sorry about that, guys.
There's hot Australian women wanting to
Get
hear more
that.
about you.
Let's get that sideways.
No, exactly. It's a side mic, so make sure it's like
Side
this.
mic. So-
Yes.
Oh, it's a
Okay,
side
my-
mic.
my-
Like
Now
Yes,
it's different from radio than in the studio.
oh, okay. Yeah, it is. It is. It's totally different. And plus, I usually mic up my guitar.
Now let me.
So what shows have you worked on? You were mentioning.
The cinematography that I've done has all been sort of like just like concept stuff. Like indie films. I worked on a ton of indie films.
Any horror?
No, just weird like artsy stuff that I get hired on. And plus, I just took like productions. None of them were my own projects. I would just almost every time that I've worked on productions has either been as a DP, helping writing, technical assistance with camera. I know a lot about 4K plus capture and
That's amazing. So you're a
stuff
king
that
of
you guys.
guitars.
I have a
and-
degree. I have a degree in filmmaking.
From
and,
where?
And, from LACC.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so
Cool.
I have
Cool.
I basically I do a lot of technical stuff concerning film. I know a lot about 4K plus and
Biggest film you-
Resolve. I do stuff, but I haven't worked at any kind of like major studio.
I was going to
project.
ask, what's the biggest thing you worked on? Because I'm really
I've
curious
done
about
some
everyone's
stuff
journey.
with. I helped out a little bit with the NWA film, but it was not to the capacity of filmmaking, not to like technical filmmaking, more like acquiring props from gang members. it was that's pretty much like I've done some stuff like that. I worked on one project for Joel Silver where I have an acting credit.
No, which
Yeah,
one?
Joel Silver, right?
I've interviewed
it's,
him twice. He's
this is
amazing.
hilarious,
The
right?
dude who made Commando, 48
I
Hours.
actually, now check this
Warriors.
out right now. I'm not an actor, right? I did write film. I write a lot, right? But I replaced Corey Haim on my very first film project for Joel Silver.
Was Charlie Sheen in it?
No, but this was a spec project. It was 20 minutes long for Joel Silver for his studio, and it was my very first professional gig out of film school, and I was second unit camera on that. So those are the kind of jobs I do. I'll get hired on to do like camera work. Like
He was doing
shoot 'em.
something conceptual?
He does a lot of. He has a big company, so he does a lot of stuff. And this is his assistant set this up, and was in it as well. He's a really talented actor, Trey Johnson, and he set up a 20-minute feature where they were just sort of doing a spec feature for him. So they financed the whole thing. Joe Silver, I bet, financed the whole thing.
Wow.
And basically what we did, it wasn't very expensive. Like maybe 20 or 30 grand for him is like, it's peanuts. So they put me on second unit camera, and lo and behold, Corey Haim died 2 weeks before that. He was scheduled to be one of the stars. And that was my first acting gig.
Wow.
And I had no idea Corey Haim was in it. I was just hired on by Philip Lindsay, a producer on the set, just because I had the same gear that Philip had. So we just doubled our gear. We had both Blackmagic Cinema cameras. So it was easy to just, yeah, so it was easy to just, you know. So from that, he was like, hey, you know what? You look a lot like our star. No, they never told me it was Corey
He's
Haim
dead.
that he died. Like, he died like that. All they said was that the star. I had
Go
no
over
idea.
there to pull that thing's shirt off and pants
In
and
fact,
put them
I
on.
was not even aware that Corey Haim was the guy that was supposed to. That would have been his last paid gig. And then they paid him, and I was not even aware for 6 months after that until they started editing and putting it together that I replaced him. And I can assure you, back then I was a horrible actor because I wasn't even prepared, and I'm still a horrible actor, except in my own stuff. I'll be fine.
Yeah. My first movie was, my first and last movie that I was in
Slapping Does Dallas.
was a Corey Haim and Corey Feldman movie, and
Really?
with Alyssa Milano.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And well, she's a tiny little thing, and I'll just tell you this: a lot of stuff going up your nose in the back room. That's all I'll say.
No, I don't believe it. No, are you serious?
Not the Corys. Dan, was Charlie Sheen on that one?
Yeah, he was backstage molesting
Did he-
Feldman.
You mean Haim, legally to protect ourselves.
Yeah. Feldman is alive. He could still sue us.
Corey
Yeah.
Feldman has got a lot of stuff going on. I mean,
He
he's
does.
just like right now. He's just like all over the place with exposing child molesters.
No, I'll give him credit. The great thing is with him, I interviewed him he did a bunch of Lost Boys straight to video sequels.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, and I wrote for Fangoria magazine, and my editor, Becca McKendry, had a crush on him. And I go, so as a joke, I had him, sign a picture to her. And he goes, and he was a very cool dude. He was wearing sunglasses like you, but I think they're more to hide his. He goes, Becca. Sounds hot. Tell her I'm single right now again. I thought, wow. It was just so weird to see Corey Feldman talking like Popeye the Sailor.
Oh no, Corey Feldman. He's like a one of a kind.
He's got his own band.
He's got his own band.
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
with these girls that are dressed like angels.
Angels, yeah.
They're suing him for back wages, by the way.
Yeah.
When he went on his war, against child molesters, which is the most noble thing you can do, because he's actually now naming names.
Yeah, he's naming it.
And I mean, you see that terrible footage of Barbara Walters scolding him.
No, that was insane. I
You
saw
know,
that.
That old hag threw everything into the garbage at the end of her career. They scold him because, don't talk about child molesters in show business. You can destroy someone's job.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God.
There's some pedophile out there earning his
Do
bread.
you know how many jobs people will lose if you talk about this?
We might have to replace the whole industry.
Yeah.
The whole industry.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get rid of the couching couch.
Yeah, the couch.
There's a casting couch right there. Look.
Yeah.
Jeff's been waiting for you to come in all morning, kid. You're a man with a dream. Get over there.
Yeah, lay down.
You're playing a Boy Scout and he's playing a molester
I think can only go so far for my art.
on your stomach.
So I want to ask you, what made you decide I want to play guitar?
Oh well,
Mom, Dad, can you help me
I can tell
buy
you
this guitar and amp or what?
Nana. I want to get laid.
That's I specifically when I first got into music, right? I loved Van Halen. So David Lee Roth was just like a hero of mine, and still is sort of. He's crazy. But I basically saw a Van Halen video. I think it was when there was a bunch of girls around there in California.
Oh, wait. There's a Van Halen video with a bunch of girls
his
in
solo
it. Let's
thing.
try and find this one then, man.
Just a Gigolo and California Girl.
Yeah, you got it. California
His solo
Girls,
stuff cracks me up.
Yeah,
man.
I love
Oh,
that
you ate one
stuff.
too?
The
That was-
Picasso brothers.
Yeah,
Remember he put on the
yeah,
fat
yeah.
makeup?
So
and-
that's exactly that got me into the guitar. I also I had a bunch of bad influences, like friends that were getting me into Metallica and Slayer. I was very young, but Twisted Sister had a lot to do with it as well. I was hanging out, and I was an artist forever since I could remember.
You mentioned Twisted Sister twice, so you're not
Wasp as
joking.
well.
They weren't
Now,
influenced.
have you met Dee Snider?
I have met him briefly, but I I went to one of their concerts once, and I actually got to hang out and party with Great White. They opened up.
Wow.
And this was like 1986.
I hope you left before the fireworks display.
I hung out with them on their tour bus, and we did a bunch of blow, and with for all night long. Me and
Wow,
the singer.
did you
Me and the
really?
singer, and my old bass player. We were like 17. He was the worst influence. This guy.
If they
He was
invite
like,
you
"Yeah,
to,
come on in, let's
They
hang
went
out,
with the
party."
if they invite you to a reunion tour at a small club in New Jersey, say
Jack
no.
Russell.
That's
You
the way
know?
the 80s were.
That's the
though.
80s. That was the
That-
80s. It was
that
completely insane. This was in
Wow.
Albany, New York, and I was a kid. I was still in high school.
Blow with Great White. That's amazing.
Yeah,
You might be our coolest guest.
Okay, my friend in Rialto, Ralph Nervous, who has his own band called Sock Monkey. He wants to know: were you self-taught, or did you go to school for the guitar?
Both. I basically am a hybrid of things. I hung out with the very best guitar players when I first started in my town, who are amazing and still are. And I also went to school for theory and music composition.
Yeah. Dad must have been having
I
a
also-
Do you
My
play-
son, the music theorist.
No. Here's the thing is, I learned how to read music really early on because when I was trying to learn how to play Metallica tracks, they were very complicated, and so was Guns N' Roses. I clearly remember this. And this was years ago. It's like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and I quickly learned how to read tablature just to quickly get through some of these tracks and build a technical ability to play them because by ear it would have been impossible.
But see, that's the thing. Most of the guitar players I know just learn from.
Yeah, I'm not
I
a
can't-
year musician. I'm not a year. Immediately went straight to like sheet music and started.
Well, of course, tabs.
yeah,
are different.
tablatures and
That's
Lots
the
of John
easy-
Philip Sousa.
It's the easy way to read music.
Yes.
Because like when I started playing guitar, I got rid of my dirt bike and my skateboard, and I had a like Tysko Del Rey.
He held on to the Barbie dolls
I
and
can
rubber
tell you this,
phallus.
the very first Guns N' Roses album, I bought the tablature for that and
Ooh,
learned it.
did you
And-
really?
Like I bought the Kiss music book. I went down and it just I didn't know that till years later that just they're hired people. They just listen. They just put it, and a lot of times it's not correct.
No, you have
they just
to
put a chord structure there.
It's
I'm all like,
close. It depends on. I think it also depends on the era too.
Yeah.
The stuff I got was about 95% accurate, but I also went back and forth to like Guitar World and guitar magazines and compared. And I mean, I was obsessed with the guitar. That's all I did.
Wow.
So it's for
That's
5
exciting,
years straight.
actually.
That's all that I was doing. And in fact, I was just reverse engineering theory and some scales and like just depending and I was driving myself crazy at times too, where I would just smash up guitars because against the wall for just being so completely pissed off that I couldn't get something. I would do this multiple times where I just smash guitars.
how many guitars you got? You collect guitars like I do?
I don't. I go through guitars like crazy. Amps, guitars. I'll go through. I've had hundreds of guitars. I've broken hundreds of them or dozens of them. I have a horrible temper problem when I'm younger as well. I'm
Are
way
you
better
serious?
at it now.
Have you actually took your guitar, slammed it, and broke it on the grabbed it by the neck and
You
Yes,
do the
I've done
Pete
this at least a
Townsend
dozen
thing.
times, especially when I was younger. But I would get.
Did
I
you
would
go,
get
I'm going to
cheapies
need
all
a
the
new
time as well.
guitar, Grandma.
I'll buy cheapies all the time. I'll have like 10 cheapy guitars around, or I'll have some Les Pauls. You've seen pictures of me with some high-end $5,000 guitars. Those, but I treat guitars like guitars and gear like a water kind of thing. I'll just
Wow.
go through them as I need them, like like a race car.
so like when you got an ESP here, you might change your minds. Like I want to switch guitars.
Ibanez by tomorrow. I could get rid of that. Go back.
You
to
might
jeans.
sell that and get another one and say this
You
is
got
my
it.
new.
This one I probably wouldn't even sell. This one I would just smash up. But this one plays remarkably well. It's incredibly fast. It's like a race car.
Have you ever accidentally broken the good guitar?
Yes.
Wow, that's horrible.
Yes.
Come on, you wouldn't do that to a $1,500 Gibson.
No, I can tell you right now that I was on stage at Saratoga Winters in a band that I was in upstate New York, which is where I'm from a small town.
Buffalo
And,
or?
no, I'm from Albany.
How close to Westchester?
Yeah, oh, nice. Basically, I was there at Saratoga Winters. I was in front of 400 people. I had another band I was in. I've been in bands my whole life, and I was maybe 24, 25, and I had a $6,000 Les Paul Custom at that time, right? A 3-piece, right? So it was a $6,000 that guitar cost, and I think I got it used for $6,000, right?
Oh, wow.
So like, and I bought it on an American Express card.
That's a card.
So like, and here's
Cost
what I
more
did.
than my car
Now-
ever did.
Now the reason that I use strap locks now is because of that moment and that guitar. I was playing out, and that guitar came unhinged on stage, and the neck cracked. like
Oh,
in the
son
middle
of
of
a
a set.
bitch.
So yeah, I have broken guitars.
Oh no.
In that manner, and that guitar went from being what, $6,000 to $1,500 or $1,200 in less than.
I kind of go in rotation with mine. I always keep a minimum of 20 guitars. Sometimes I'm up to 21, 22. Like this month, I might have to sell one to pay the
For drugs.
to pay the bills, pay the big bad boss. You know,
Grandma, I'm gonna need a new Les
but
Paul.
like I do, I
Times
don't
are
choose
tough.
them. I don't say that's the guitar I want. I'm gonna buy
Times
it.
are tough. Things are hard.
Up
Here's
on
your
the
effing
boulevard.
Christmas card.
I see a guitar, it's on the wall, and I see the price on it, and I play it. It's good. The last one I bought was this Dan Electro for 120 bucks. I couldn't pass it up. I saw it at Sam Ash, and I got it, and then I'll end up always selling them for more, or I sell them for the same.
You know what? The
price I got.
prices to me are irrelevant to the playability. So I'm unconcerned with the price at all because I'm only concerned with if I have enough to buy it if I like it, right? So I'm gonna always try it out first. This guitar isn't very expensive at all, but it's incredibly fast. It's one of the fastest guitars that I've tried, just randomly because just it's an anomaly. But that Les Paul that I broke and other Les Pauls that I've had, they suck compared to this guitar. They can't even play anywhere near as fast as this. So
That's what, you know, ESP does make. Mine was even a bolt-on neck. I got it for like 80 bucks at a pawn shop. All my pro friends said, man, this plays better than my Les Paul.
I can do licks on
This
here.
plays great for it. Okay, let's play. Let's hear some
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah,
Remember,
we're-
public domain, public domain.
All right. I will only play original tracks. I'll
Yeah,
play
yeah,
some
please.
stuff that-
And you can do She's Coming Around the Mountain when she comes, because that's also public domain.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Damn. The harmonics. I like those harmonics and squeals that you do.
Wow.
I definitely need I need to up my game. I need lessons, brother.
That sounds good.
I'm a lazy guitarist. I am lazy. You're playing every day.
I have a message from Hollywood who they just texted me. Guy, wow, it's a friend of mine in a band. I won't say the band, but it's X, Billy Zoom.
Wow, Billy Zoom.
Yeah, William Zoom.
Oh, wow, fancy
As
pants.
it comes off on my Facebook. And he wants to know, who was your main influence on playing guitar?
I would say it's a close call between Eddie Van Halen and Steve Vai.
Wow.
Rock and roll!
Steve Vai. Steve Vai. Now I love when he did that movie where he played Ralph Macchio's guitar parts.
Yeah, Crossroads, directed by Walter Hill.
Crossroads. He was the devil, yeah.
He's doing something like I don't know it that well, but I think what he was. And if I can just
By the way, Joel Silver produced that to bring it all full circle.
are you kidding?
No, sir.
This thing does not want to stay plugged in. All right, Joel, are you really Joel?
Yeah, Joel Silver produced it.
If I remember correctly, and I haven't done this since I was a kid, but I think some of those licks were like.
Wow.
Like that?
Nice, nice, nice.
I think this is as close as I can get.
Now that's one thing that's been. I see all these young kids doing it now is sweeping. I cannot sweep. That is.
What is sweeping? Like the windmill? Is that like the who?
And string skipping.
Oh,
This is an advanced kind of a guitar technique. I'll show you through.
Please.
A little bit of this. So sweeping is when you do like this type of a arpeggio or this kind of a chord thing, right? But you don't want to play the whole thing. You want to run through it note by note. So you'll do something like this where.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Piece by piece.
Show Dan the man.
You can hear Clapton doing this too, and older guys will do just pieces of it.
It's haunting.
Added some distortion and delay. You can move it up and down go right into different licks. So you just build these licks up.
It's almost hypnotic, actually. You know the music, everything.
It's quite challenging. You do have to play a lot. I'm
Can
almost tethered to this
now,
guitar.
now, okay, another question. This is from our friend Joe Lavin.
All right, Joe. He's in it. Joe is great. He is in a Alice in Chains tribute band.
Oh, I love this one.
They're called Memory Lane, and they got 2 guitar players. Actually, I'm going to be truthful. They sound better
Then
Than
live
Alice in
than
Chains.
Alice in Chains. They sound better.
Well, yeah, because Alice in Chains is dead.
What's up, Joe? What's Joe telling us?
Can you play what was it called? Flamingo.
Flamenco. Not much. When I sit down, if I practice it, I can. But if I'm going to be playing a lot of guitar clean, I stick to a lot of Metallica.
A lot of rock and roll.
Watch out for Metallica. Watch out for the piece of crap for the Misfits.
I do a lot of Metallica stuff. Like lately, I've been doing like Fade to Black.
So it's a C, G, A, C, G, A? Is that what
Big Kirk Hammett fan, so I've been doing a lot of
Wow.
Fade to Black.
That was hot.
Kirk Hammett.
What's your favorite effect? Did you ever have a memory man? Do you like those electro harmonics effects?
I love those. I love those.
The old-
I love electro harmonics effects. The last pedal I had one of those. It was just too dirty. I had it run it through a stack, but I had one of the original ones, and I couldn't use it. It was too fucking.
They're hardwired. I didn't see no circuit board on the muff fuzz.
And plus, they get, you know how it is, oxidation. If you don't keep cleaning them out when they're so old, they start to get noisy. You
Yeah.
know? So the new ones are good too, but lately I'm just like on three effects here. I have the metal zone
Wow.
that I'm using here for
Right.
metal, and I got a delay. I have a brand new Hall of Fame TC Electronics for reverb, and I'm using a carbon copy for straight up for delay. This little tiny Marshall amp here that I bought through the studio today.
Wow. Nice.
So if I play, let's say, let me just play a blues rhythm and you play some lead.
Let's do that.
I'll hold the camera.
Yeah. You got an extra pick?
Yeah, I do.
Whoa, ending live video. Why is it ending live video?
God, you press this, you can't touch the screen.
That was actually you. I was holding from the back. Set us up, weed smoker.
I'm ready for a bowl.
Let's do this.
I have to deal with this every morning.
What? Where's Grant White when you really need him?
Where is Jack Russell?
Almost in jail.
I'm ready to relapse right now. I'm gonna go to AM/PM and get a couple 40 ounces.
Okay, now hold it by the edge.
By the edge.
On the edge.
Do not touch the screen.
Not like the edge from YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I don't know. Give me an A.
Yeah.
You are not.
Wow.
You got do a blues and A. Just keep it on there.
Nicely
Yeah.
That was fun, man.
Awesome, man.
John is right. John just
Man,
clocked
rock in the
in.
morning.
Rock
Now,
in the morning.
I want to come to your house. I'm bringing me my Epiphone Flying V, man. Could you teach? Do you like Michael Schenker?
I love Michael Schenker.
Could there's a few UFO songs that I would love to, that real melodic leads that I want to
Really
learn
bite into.
for years. And you're the guy. You could teach me that.
I could show you that, man. I love Michael Schenker. I mean, Kirk Hammett. I listen to Kirk Hammett. They're like directly descendant. Kirk Hammett's a huge fan. You know, that's how I got into UFO, just by reading articles. And I think it was Kirk Hammett from Metallica was talking about how much he loved him, and then I totally was like, "Oh, the UFO, right?"
Steve Joyner just said, "Awesome hair band."
Awesome
Not cool.
non-hair
We
band.
are in the coalition of Bob.
Not cool, Steve Joyner.
Brothers of Baldness. The Brothers of Baldness. That's our new coalition here.
Yeah, but he's like a cool version of you.
Oh,
Well, that
man.
was brutal.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
so no problem.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah.
Gee, what time is it? Oh my God!
We got about 20 minutes, man.
Yeah. Hey, this is great. So you guys, this is let me mention my film. Right?
Sure, please.
LA Crime Story, right? So this is what I plan on doing with that. Music is a huge part of it. It's partly a musical, actually. In the band itself, there's in the film, in the middle of the script, one of the reasons I'm back to guitar and music is that because there's a band in the script called the Hit Squad. So a murder takes place around them. So I'm sort of developing a real band to sound authentic within the script, so it doesn't sort of sound like a cheesy Hollywood band that they put together at the last minute, or you could tell. You know, so I wanted something more authentic and organic that possibly could outlive the life of the film. So
The
That's a
man,
good
he
thing.
doesn't just want to make a crime movie. He wants to invent the monkeys.
I really want that. I want that whole thing. You know, I want that film, but I
Is
also
it a girl
want that
band?
band.
Is it a girl band? Is it a girl band?
No, we don't need no girl band.
You totally do. No. He wants people to see the movie, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Well, look. We'll have plenty of groupies. We'll have plenty.
Yeah. Right now, sex is not really on my mind. I'm barely can keep it together with all the work I'm doing on these projects. But it's a lot of fun. You know, and I just now I'm at a time in my life, and it's not going to last long. Where I have a couple months just to keep putting it all together.
Wow.
And you know, but it's not going to last because the funding for the film is about to come in, and once it comes in, that's going to be in within probably somewhere between 3 to 6 weeks, and it's a substantial amount of money.
Are you going to shoot at SAG? Or SAG
You could be
ULB?
SAG ultra low budget, right?
We could. In fact, I'm not sure, but realistically, I've been planning to shoot this film, if I have to, with the money that I have so far, for about 100 or 200,000 and put it on Netflix. But
Wow.
investors have been sort of contacting me, so there's a possibility. My original budget for this film, a couple years ago when I put it together, was about 1.4 million to make it like for real.
Depending who you get for
like
the
a
main
drive.
girl, yeah.
This is very much like a Drive kind of film. Right, so I
love Drive, by the way, great movie.
So I'm an expert.
It was like a music
cinematographer.
video, an action.
You got it.
packed
So
music
now you can
video.
imagine like a Drive film noir. That's what this is really. So
Wow.
this is like a lot like Drive, but it's a film noir. A lot of this film takes place in the very dirtiest, grimiest parts of LA, and then the other parts in the best. So it's like night and day, right? There's a lot of action sequences here, but they're all revolving around all these dudes chasing this batshit crazy chick around LA, and she's smarter than them, and she gets away.
So your budget is your budget is. By the way, you just blew the ending.
Trust me, I didn't.
The budget though is contingent on casting, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So if you get a big name for her,
Yeah. That's basically, and this is a very much like a Sharon Stone type of a lead female.
I mean, but Sharon Stone now or Sharon
Stone in Basic Instinct.
Thank goodness.
We all have our basic.
Not that I would
instinct.
kick Sharon Stone out of bed no matter where she was at.
For eating crackers. All right, Sharon Stone, it's time for your ass to go.
But basically, this film is it's very stylized, but I can put a lot of it together. But of course, money is a reality in Hollywood. We all know how expensive it is here. I'm definitely going to be looking for outside investors. If I can find it, I'm just going to try to propel this project to be as big as it needs to be. But I'm already, even by my own funding ability, I'm already been able to put it together.
Yeah, now Canada seems to be a hot spot. You know, we have a lot of celebrities in here. A hot spot where movies are being shot and shows are being done in Canada. What do you?
I think that's great. I think if you the thing is, for me, these film locations are dependent on how you storyboard the film and the director and where he wants to shoot, depending on the light. So it's basically, if you need to go somewhere, I would go to Canada if I needed somewhere cold and dark, and it was just darker than LA. You know, everything. My locations are completely dependent on how much light is coming in from that region and how I can light it and color correct it afterwards on DaVinci Resolve, or how it can be edited. You know. With this like film noir thing, this you could shoot in New York, Chicago, LA, it doesn't matter, and you can call it anything.
Perhaps Louisiana?
Yeah. It's got to be a pretty big city.
Atlanta. We talked about that on a previous show about how people are saving money going to Atlanta to film.
For me, I'm a really low budget filmmaker by Hollywood standards. So unless it gets picked up by a major distributor or a studio, for me, it makes more sense to shoot it right here, do it myself, since I'm already an expert at filmmaking, and save money just through labor costs. You know, actors aren't that expensive in LA unless you're dealing with a main star. That's really the majority of your budget. And the rest of it can almost be done on cheeseburgers. So
Lindsay Lohan is going to be the batshit psychologist?
No, it's going to be somebody current and hot.
Wow.
That's how you sell it, right?
Isn't it terrible? Isn't it terrible? In this town now, Lindsay Lohan is older than Sharon Stone.
No, I'm like a Netflix guy, and I watch a lot of horror movies. But I love it when I see somebody driving down Mulholland and I see all the palm trees.
Oh, I love that as
and
well.
it's
that's
like,
such
it's
so,
like I love LA. It's that's my hometown. I was born in Pomona.
This film for me is it's going to be a cinch to shoot. It doesn't even require that much money, but the actors, the main actor, if it goes that way. But I'm not looking to make any money off this film at all. I'm just looking to, if I invest $100,000 of my own money, I'm just looking to get that $100,000 back and even out. I don't care about the profit end of it. I'm more concerned about pumping out more products.
Who is Eric Roberts playing?
Somebody connected to his last film and the one that he was in with that guy from Chips. they're in a film they just put out, and a guy that co-starred with him once is just contacted me and is like, "Hey, I've just been in this film with Eric Roberts. I should be in your film." It's like, not so fast. I've got an audition process to get through, but maybe, you know. But basically, I'm looking for very, very. This film script, every character in it, it has an equal amount of airtime. You know, the 8 or 12 central characters. It's a lot like Pulp Fiction, kind of a rotational.
Not the running time though.
No, it's still an hour-and-a-half film.
Oh, you're 90 minutes, baby.
Oh,
That's
yeah. So that's what I got in my film. So basically, there's no one singular star. There's like 12 rotational casts. So I'm going to be looking for the most talented people to be real. You know, I'm going to follow all the rules of filmmaking, which
means nudity and gore.
You got so,
lots and lots of nudity and gore.
It just has to not. I just can't. You know, it just has. What's that rule of filmmaking? The number one rule of filmmaking is don't forget it.
No, go ahead.
Come on, you should know this.
It's a big
okay,
one. You know that one with.
I hate to interrupt. Yeah. You two bald gentlemen need to put your earphones.
Yeah,
on.
what the hell?
Oh, we're not.
I'm naturally loud, so they were able to hear me. But
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, that's better. Right now you can hear
I thought
me.
you were just telling us you were a filmmaking professional.
Because I'm locked in this booth, and you guys can't probably hear me.
Dan, yes, we can.
I can
hear you. We got you on this
Yeah.
little Dr. Dre beat pill here.
This sounds great.
Wow.
How's yeah, I can't do that much longer. But
That didn't last long.
basically, no, you guys are everybody's gonna love this film. It's a great film, as long as I can shoot it exactly how the script is written. You know, the actors on it are a big part of it, as is the music. The toughest part is to integrate the music into the film, and it's partly a musical. But it's not. I don't want it to seem like a music. You know, it's it's a film with a lot of music in it, but it's not too different like a format like Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Like that. We have it's a very similar type of a situation, you know, where except that it's film noir with detectives and cops, chasing detectives and.
But you can shoot it all downtown. This is
why I picked the film first, because it's the simplest. It's the simplest thing to shoot. I also wrote a sci-fi. There's no way I could ever pull that off. You know what I mean? It's a serious film.
No, it's hard enough making this without flying cars.
Me and my Thunderbird bass make a great team.
No, trust me.
Not something you'd put on a poster, but a great team.
I'll send you the script. You'll see in the script there's tons of stuff for the band. The band in the script is a Slipknot type of band because a murder takes place around it. So one of the cops that goes to commit this murder goes to the band merch place, puts on the merch from the band, and hides behind as a fan. Right, so a lot of the members in the band they have masks like Slipknot.
What does the killer look like?
The killer, it looks like this guy right here. This is him. The only guy I have cast is the rookie detective that ends up trying to kill everybody.
Who plays him?
I actually asked him this morning if he could come on with me today. Who plays him is Paul Braun. In fact, let me get you guys a picture here real quick so you can see for yourself.
Yeah. Hey, henchman.
I do henchmen and bodyguards.
Henchman bouncer.
If there's henchmen, bouncers, or cops, I expect to hear from you.
Paul Braun, and if you can see him okay on there.
What is this? Is a junior prom photo?
He is a very good-looking dude, to say the least.
Hey, this guy looks like a cop. I want him out of here.
Let's lose the L7.
Paul is he's a really good actor. He's a real cool actor, and I cast him. There's many roles in it. There's probably like 10 main ones, and he's gonna be one of them. Basically, I'm just looking for a female lead to play opposite of him, just to audition for a couple.
Wow,
of
I
scenes.
got some female leads that are showing up on my live feed right there. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Katie. How you doing?
Tammy and Betty Beware's on with us?
Oh, Betty Beware. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
She
and
was a guest.
we have a girl who's deaf who listens to our show every morning.
And
Tammy Taylor Short.
Oh, she's
Wow.
I'll show you her picture. She's a burlesque
She's
girl.
actually very
She's
cute.
got a hair salon called Little Shop of Hairdos.
I love that.
Oh, that's Betty Beware.
That's Betty Beware. She's a breed of her own. Amazing chick.
That's amazing. How's Hey guys, you know, I hate to cut this short. I think I gotta fly out of here.
No worries, brother.
But you guys are amazing. This is an amazing show.
No,
I'd love
hey,
to come back.
Thank you so much for being here.
I want to play your guitar with that effects on it.
So, yeah, you hop on it, man. Before I got plenty of time here. In fact, let me run out and. Oh no.
You don't have plenty of time.
No,
Just
I
told
don't have
you.
any time. What am I talking about? Here, and you. I think I have about a 2-hour drive back to West Hollywood.
Thank
here.
you so much for coming in. Hey, Edward.
Yeah.
That's for you, Gene.
This guy rocks.
He does. Now here's where Edward watches an idiot ruin his guitar. Edward, what do you think?
I think he's fucking awesome.
Don't lie to him.
I think he's not too bad for like
A rank amateur.
That sounds like UFO. Wait, that's Metallica. No. That was UFO, right?
Yeah, can you help me up my game?
I can.
All right,
I
cool.
can, but your game's pretty good.
Cool.
Of course I can help you.
Show him how it's done, son.
Oh man, he's good. He's good.
Take Jeffrey to school.
Yeah, let me try it.
That is a fast guitar, man.
It's a
Like you
fast
said,
guitar,
I felt
right?
like a rock star playing that thing with those effects.
You actually sounded like one.
Wow, that was a cool lick right there. I haven't seen something that tricky right there. That was hitting those harmonics. I haven't learned how to do that. Yeah!
Oh,
Yeah!
that is good, man. I played the
smoking,
guitar once on stage, and it was for a punk rock band. And I worked the board. That's all I do is I work boards. And the guitarist was overdosing on heroin.
Oh, God.
And he was in the bathroom vomiting white foam. And
Most of Dan's stories end like this.
yeah, he's like,
We have our next guest is watching us right now.
Jean
Jean
Coulter.
Coulter, stunt
She wanted to
woman.
know.
She's going to be calling us in about 5 minutes. So we're going to wrap him up and we're going to take our phone
Okay,
call.
Wrap him up like a
I'll,
GD mummy.
I'm gonna play some Van Halen here.
Uh-oh. There's
And,
another neck. Okay.
Oh.
Time for another guitar. Hey, if you ever need a guitar in a situation and you ain't got access, I got 20 guitars. I got.
Look, as you can see, this is not the first time I have chips in this guitar, and it's a brand new guitar.
Yeah.
I'll go through these like I go through a lot of guitars.
You go through them like Pete Townsend.
Yeah, so
I'm not a collector. I'm like an abuser of instruments.
Yeah. You're an abuser of instruments. I'm a collector who needs to get his upgrade his chops, man.
Like race cars track, they're gonna get
Exactly. That's a good analogy right there.
But hey, amazing job, Edward. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's get a picture real quick, and I'll play some Van Halen here.
Yeah, that works. Put him in hell and get over here.
Hell yeah.
Boys, what do you pick?
Oh, nice. That was awesome.
No, thank you so
Are
much.
we still on?
No, you're still in the air, but he's putting on Van Halen so we can grab a group photo. Edward, a pleasure.
Running with the Devil by Van Halen.
Yeah, play. Woo. Is that why you were tearing everything apart to find a stick? Some musicians happily no. My mom is a nurse.
I live my life like there's no tomorrow. All I've got, I had to steal. Least I don't need to beg or borrow. Yes, I'm living at a pace that kills. Ooh, yeah. Running with the devil. Running with the devil. I'll tell you all about it. I found the simple life ain't so simple. When I jumped out on that road, I got no love you call real. Ain't got nobody waiting at home. Running with the devil. I'm gonna tell you one time. Running with the devil. Yes, I
Okay.
You know,
All right.
I found
Switching
the
cameras.
simple life wasn't so simple. No, when I
Why is it
jumped
frozen?
out
Why is it
on
frozen?
that road, got no love you call real. Got nobody waiting at home. Running with the devil. Running with the devil. One more time. Running with the devil. Running with the devil. Running with the devil. Running with the devil.
Great.
Jumping, what's that sound? Here she comes, full blasting top down. Hot shoe, burning down the avenue. Model citizen, zero discipline. Don't you know she's coming?
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get ready for I'm probably gonna turn this off right now. I'm gonna cut and then I'll restart it. Okay, Patrick.
There we go. We are back on the air.
Oh, that's my tea right
No,
there.
that's why I'm bringing it, stupid.
Okay.
I didn't know. Yeah, Patrick thought it was my tea. It wasn't mine.
Yeah, but I know you like the mellow stuff.
Well, I got one of his Dunlop Oltex picks.
Very cool dude. Very cool dude. I'm one. I love that he's working in film and music. 2, he's adept at both. And 3, just watching somebody jam out. I did. I was on stage with Buckethead a while back.
Oh man, what does that guy look like in person? Would you recognize
You
him?
know, but yes, I would. But what he did, one of the amazing things he did, is he would play the guitar with either hand. He did this amazing bit where he did the giant robot theme, Voyage into Space, on his right hand, and he did Pirates of the Caribbean and Halloween on his left hand. I've never seen anyone be able. And this guy, when you hear the music throbbing in your gut, you know what I mean? I mean, that's just an amazing. As someone, you know what I mean. I'm not a musician, but I'm really impressed by the people who can do this. Like you jamming out a minute ago.
Yeah, I didn't know
impressive.
I could jam like that. That was all those effects. That guitar was really fast and like.
Yeah, but you looked like you knew what you were doing. Man.
I haven't played in a couple weeks, man. Where I plugged in electric guitar and jammed out on it.
Yeah, you know what? Impromptu jams are the best.
Nicely done, Everett. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Here's the less glamorous part where you show him picking up all his shit.
Thanks, guys.
Rock and roll's a bitch.
No roadies today.
No
roadies.
Or groupies either, sadly.
I want to say, Gene out there.
Gene Coulter.
We're ready for
Jaws 2 and Charlie's Angels fame. We're ready when you are, baby.
We're ready when you are, sweetheart. Call us in.
Yeah, no, she's texting in right now.
Oh, she's
so.
texting in? Okay.
Well, that's not a very compelling interview, Gene. Also, at 7:40, we're going to get Scott Essman talking about his new film with 2 cast members.
Yeah, I've got, I got a caller here. Let's see.
I'm hoping it's Gene.
I hope it is Gene.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Okay.
Is it you, Gene? Oh, Gene is there. I can hear her in the booth, but we can't hear her out here.
Okay, wait, phone, wait. Okay. Testing 1, 2. Have we got her?
Say something, Gene. Coming in the light, Carol Ann.
Dan, what do I do? Talk to me.
We're losing her. Not on my
Turn
watch.
off the mute button.
Turn off the mute button, moron.
On the phone. The phone, it's off. It's off.
Okay, she should be on your screen.
Gene, say something.
Do I click? It just says
Can you hear
there's
us?
5 green dots in that little. Oh, there it goes. It says check.
Okay, Gene, say something.
Gene.
Gene, we're all here, Gene. Yes.
Good morning.
Good
Gene,
morning,
all
everyone.
right. Hello, Gene.
Wow.
Hello.
Good morning to our
Gene
chaotic
Coulter.
morning.
Wow. Hey, darling, how are you?
Whoa. Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Well, we're thrilled to pieces to have you, actually. In my book, Just When You Thought It Was Safe with Jaws Companion, I wrote a big picture of you from Jaws 2 with the gas can and the shark.
Oh, my gosh. How awesome. How neat.
And now, what was the first thing you stunted on?
The very first thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my gosh. I think it was Emergency, but I'm not sure because
Wow.
I did a lot of stunt work on an E-card, which is Screen Actors Guild, and I didn't get paid Screen Actors Guild wages, so I did a lot of stunt work beginning that
gosh.
way.
Wow.
So
And when,
Yeah. So then I went in, and the guy said, no, you can't do that anymore. You're going to work under Screen Actors Guild, and we'll keep you working. So that worked out great for me. Wow. So I think one of the first jobs was Emergency. I had to run out of a building that blew up behind me.
Wow.
So that was the first thing.
I love watching Emergency when you come across it on like MeTV, because you see all this expensive real estate with nothing there, with nothing on it. You'll see Century City in the 60s or 70s with nothing literally on that land yet.
I know. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
And-
You know, I grew up in Burbank, so I really saw the change.
Now, Gene, were mom and dad industry, or were your parents stunt people?
Oh, yes. My whole family was in the industry. My sister had a TV series. She was a big child star.
Who was she,
And,
if I can ask?
Pardon me?
Well, who was your sister?
And Lori Martin, she played National Velvet. She looked like Liz Taylor. She did.
Oh, my
Cape
gosh.
Fear.
Lori Martin's your sister? Wow, that's
My
amazing.
mother and my sister, they both do hunt club and ride English horses all their lives, and that was one of their favorite movies.
No, the series, too.
Fantastic.
No, did you
Yeah.
ever double? How weird is this? Did you ever double your sister?
No, I didn't. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's amazing.
She was, you know, she was young. We were young then. She was only like 9.
Oh, wow.
So, I wasn't old enough to do stunt work.
Oh, yeah. You're just a child.
Yes.
That's hilarious. But when you started, they didn't have airbags. It was all cardboard boxes, right?
No, we had bags, but they were really hard. In fact, I broke my back 35 feet up. I broke my back on an airbag that was
my
too
God.
hard for my weight. It didn't open up to let the air out, so it just whipped my back.
Oh,
So,
no. What was that on?
That wasn't on anything. I was on Airport 77, and I was with Dar Robinson. We went out to.
By the way, the father of the modern fall. Wow. You knew
Yes.
Joe Robinson.
My good
So
friend.
you'd think,
Hang on. Wow.
you'd think he would have told me,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
didn't know either.
Those
Wow.
back in those days, in the 70s and even in early 80s, airbags, you had to hit it right. You had to hit it in the right spot, or you could really get hurt on those. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. A lot of times you get thrown off. A lot of times they just deflate on the edges, so you roll off. So, yeah, in fact, when I traveled with Dar Robinson, I used to sew those airbags up. So, you know, you always had to make sure that they were good to go because just a little tear and it'll, you know, kill you. So, yeah, those airbags were interesting. The boxes were great. The only thing is you had to make sure the edges were wet so that you didn't get poked with the edges of those cardboard boxes because that really hurt. So,
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
there was a lot to falling into those things.
Now, Gene, on the James Bond movie, A View to a Kill, the last of the Roger Moores, did you double Tanya Roberts on that?
No, I doubled the other girl.
Really?
I doubled the other girl. I played a part and I did car work in it.
Wow, that's amazing. You did a Bond movie. That's like a gold star for a stunt person.
Yeah.
I know it is, and then I get to work with Remy Julian, you know, who is an Italian famous car driver. So he was awesome, and to watch them work.
He did the
you know,
Italian job. Remy did the Italian job, so he's one of the famous car stunt guys, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He was great. I mean, to work on the Bond movie was one thing, but then to work with some other stuntman that you knew was the best was really special because you learn from everybody.
Wow.
You know, so I really enjoyed that. And he took a liking to me, so that was good. You know, we were out there night after night, so it was fun. Learned a lot and had a lot of fun.
That's so exciting. When you did Jaws 2, it was like the biggest sequel in history when it came out. It's the 10th highest grossing film of the decade it came out in. Was it exciting? Because you worked directly with the shark. Everyone had problems with the shark, but that's why you don't see him in the first film. They kept hiding him. And even on Jaws 2, they made the camera the shark to get around the problems. How long did it take you to shoot? You are pulling the girl, Terry. They don't name her in the credits, but you call her
Right.
Terry when you're looking for her. How long did it take to shoot that sequence? Did Joe Alves direct that? The production
Yes.
designer Joe Alves directed that, right?
Yes.
Because he designed the shark and knew how he'd work and how to, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, it took, it took months. I mean, total, I was on the show 6 months, but I had a couple of months that I was working on other shows.
Wow.
So I'd say it was a couple of months. We worked out in that water forever. It was always go out to the sparklies, you know, and in some of those scenes, those boat scenes where I'm pulling the skier, my boat is actually hitting the ground. So it's
Wow.
plugging along.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You
because
can
Joe told me
barely
you guys
stay
shot
out.
it inland, right? You shot it inland because the ocean would have been too choppy for that.
Yeah.
So you had to have
exactly.
that calm water to, I mean, just to steady everything out on that, you know, as far as cameras
Yeah,
and everything.
and you know the ocean. You don't have that. Working on the water is the most difficult part of any movie because nothing's the same every day. It changes from morning to night, so it's always a challenge. And we had ours because working with fire, I had nothing out there. I couldn't control the fire. It just whipped around as the wind whipped around. So it was very challenging.
I was
Now, if it got out of control, would you have just jumped overboard?
Oh yeah, that was my big out. Is just dive in the water.
I saw that.
I had.
Okay.
That one
No,
screen
but
grab.
she's going to finish real fast. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. Finish that story, Gene. I'm sorry. I'm so happy we have you. I wanted to hear all your
Well, I
stories.
was all excited
Go
because
for it, Jeff.
she was when you were on fire. I mean, you had your that screen grab. You're just in the boat, and what kind of fire gel would did you have? A cool burning?
Because that was before Zell Gel, which is the
I
same
know.
as fire
we
gel.
didn't have. Yeah, we didn't have the gel. All I had was Nomax underwear on.
Wow.
And they took a bar, like a barbecue has in it with little holes, and they put that right against my back, and the fire was going up my back.
Wow.
So
wow, wow, wow.
I didn't have anything that was really protective, and it did get hot. But I didn't get burned except I lost my eyebrows and my eyelashes. But other than that,
Holy hell.
other than being really hot,
Because-
I was okay.
Yeah, I know. As the decades roll, we come up with new developments for like the fire
Right.
gel where it burns really cool, where you could actually
Right.
just put it on your skin and burn it. But back in those days, they were rubber cement. What kind of stuff were they using?
That's right. We used the rubber cement to start the fire, actually. That was our fire.
Wow.
We didn't have anything else. I went to special effects and tried a few things to try to get me more protection, but a lot of stuff didn't work because I'm wearing tight clothes. You can't hide it under the clothes. It's all close up. So, there was so many things that restricted me from really protecting myself. But I did the best I could, and it worked out great. So I was really lucky. Because if you see some of the shots I have of the fire going up my back with the guys holding that bar out, you just couldn't believe I could survive that, And I still look at it and say, wow,
Well,
I did that.
Let us ask you, Gene. How was the shark? Did he work for the entire scenes you were working with him, or did he break down a lot?
Well, I'll tell you, one night they had moved the shark up and nobody knew. And when I went out into the boat and they started shooting, that shark picked that boat up and almost flipped it over. And in the meantime, I got my foot caught and tore my knee up. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, that was. So I had a cast from my ankle all the way up to my hip, and I had it cut in half so I'd take it off when we were shooting. So, every day I had to work like that. So that was interesting.
But when his
That's
head
what
smacks
happened with me.
when his head smacks into the boat, you can tell they torqued him all the way up to make sure there was no problems whatsoever with getting that damn shark through the boat. You know what I mean? When his head comes through, when you're sitting behind the wheel, and the shark, you get out to look for the water skier, and the shark smacks his head to the boat.
Yes.
It looked like he
Yes.
was torqued all the way up, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, when it hit, it really hit. So it really jarred me. I mean, I was lucky I didn't go over actually.
Wow.
In a couple of scenes you can see where it was pretty shaky.
Okay, now Steve Joyner chimed in a couple times here. He said
he's
you were
great.
also, he's a great
Hey,
guy.
Steve, we love you. Yeah.
Yeah, he said you're also in the Blues Brothers.
I was getting to that, Steve. Don't get ahead. We're on Jaws 2 right now. Don't get ahead. I know this woman has a full picture
We're
in my
trying
book.
to get some information.
I want Jaws
here.
2 stories. Then we're going to Blues Brothers with John Landis. And then we're going to get Charlie's Angels and everything else.
She's got a lot of stories.
She's in the friggin' Fall Guy. I did my homework on her.
Lee Majors. Yeah.
But hold on, Gene. With the shark, did it ever creep you out? Did it look realistic or did it look silly? I'm close.
at first when I was doing one of the scenes, I looked at the shark and it looked so funny. I started laughing, and then I turned around and I realized I better not laugh. But it looked so phony at the time. I was laughing, and then later on, it looked pretty real underwater. It was unbelievable, really. I mean, you can see it how real it looks. It looks so real.
Yeah,
but when I was doing my scene, I had to control myself. It was challenging.
How soft were the teeth? How soft were the teeth on there? Could you scrape or hurt yourself on the shark's teeth?
Well, yeah, I mean, you could, but I wasn't really near him, you know.
Well, you're close enough. I mean, you're in a two-shot with him where it's literally you and him on that boat, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, it's part rubber and stuff, so it's not going to kill me. I mean, the fire is the worst thing I had to deal with. You know.
Yeah, I remember going to Universal Studios and going on the tram ride, and you go through the Jaws set. And I remember seeing Jaws, and I was scared out of my ass. I was like, ah!
Not just his mind, his ass.
Yes.
And this is, before we get on to Steve Joyner's beloved Blues Brothers, I wanted to ask you, you did all the early superhero shows before we had the modern CG era. You were on Wonder Woman. You were on Spider-Man with Nicholas Hammond. Talk to me about that. That sounds amazing.
Oh, well, you know, every day was different and every day was exciting. And I just love doing stunt work. So for me, to be involved in all those shows was really special because I did some of the hardest stunts you could do as a woman, you know, so it was great for me. And I was excited every day to go to work. I mean, what can you say? I worked on the top shows for 20 years, you know.
But you know what? You were busy. When I was doing the book, you were at some stunt convention or something, and it's like, I couldn't get you on the book because you were always in demand. I mean, you were always talking to somebody or doing something. I was really impressed with that because I kept trying to get you into the book, and you were, and that's a great problem. I mean, I even got Teddy Grossman, who, you know, takes a powder and disappears for a while. But it was amazing to try and get you and not be able to. Were you friends? Were you friends with the gal who played the water skier that the shark eats?
Oh, yes. Well, we became friends on the show, you know. And in fact, I just talked to her last year. She's an RN, so
a nurse.
That was her real job.
Wow.
But she was a top skier. She was a champion water skier, so she was excellent. You know, and we really had our time out there because one time she fell in a whole bunch of jellyfish and they burned her all over her face and everything. She passed out. It was something. I mean, you wouldn't believe the challenges we had on that show. It was always something.
Wow, but Gene,
it was a lot more dangerous back in those days, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you know, as dangerous as it can be out in the middle of the ocean.
But today they would park you. Today they would park you in front of a CG green screen, and that would be it.
I know. Can you believe it? Hey, it would really work great for those car hits I did and jumping out of those cars, man. Now those were killers.
Wow.
Those were. I mean, you're going. How fast are you going? I saw you were like on this desert road, and you jump out of the car, and you're just rolling. I mean, are you wearing your Nomax skid-proof jeans or?
No. In fact, all the shows I either had very little clothes on or skin tight clothes, so I barely could wear any pads. Maybe I could fit a little thin knee pad on, but that's about it. So no, on that one, the car was going 40. It was supposed to go 10. You know, when you jump out of a car going 10 miles an hour, it still is a huge crash.
You're jumping out of a damn car.
That's just balls out crazy. I mean, that is you are hardcore. You are
your testicles are bigger than ours, Gene.
Toughest
I would jump out of a car going 2 miles an hour.
Damn.
I have to ask.
You're the superhero. You're the badass superhero.
Do you consider your flaming corpse jumping out at Roy Scheider one of your scenes in Jaws 2?
Say that again?
Your scene where your flaming corpse jumps out at Roy Scheider is one of the biggest jumps in Jaws 2. Wow.
Yeah, you know that my scene was voted #1 for scariest in Jaws.
Yes,
wow, that's cool.
It's the best scene in Jaws 2. It literally is because you've got your stunt, you've got the shark, the water skier is such a great image. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a great idea. Great idea. And at the end, you know, they filmed me dying. And David Brown came to me. He says, you know, honey, he said, the scene was great. He says, but I can't use it because it's too morbid.
Wow, boo.
Let the kids see it.
That's Saturday morning kids show this nowadays.
Right.
No, but you were on it for 6 months, though, right, Gene? Because my favorite story about Jaws 2 from like 3 different people, I guess Zanuck's wife filed for divorce on the movie, and he beat up the process server. Were you there for that?
No, I guess I missed that one.
On set?
Yeah, he beat up the process server. Came to it was really ugly because she was supposed to be she was going to be Brody's wife in Jaws, and when she didn't get it, you know what I mean. I guess it went south. When the process server showed him Martha's Vineyard and served him on Jaws 2, he had all the problems with the movie being shut down, restarted, going over budget. So as soon as this, even though the guy was like 5'3", as soon as he was served, he just beat the process server until they pulled him off him.
Oh my gosh.
And that's a rock and roll story.
See, now you're finding out a story that you were there and it was going right behind your back. You didn't know it.
Now, on Wonder Woman, did you actually fight with the legendary deaf stunt woman who doubled Linda Carter?
No, in fact, I had to do a shot that was really something. I had to slide a car with Linda Carter in front of me.
Wow.
So I did it like 10 times with her watching, and everybody on the set was taking wages, you know, to see if I was going to do it perfect. And they never put an actress in front of a car like that, dangerous stunt, you know.
And she's a national landmark.
They did, and it worked fine. But let me tell you, my heart was pounding because, you know, you just never know. You know, things go wrong and not necessarily your fault or under your control. So, yeah, that was one of the scariest jobs I think I had on Wonder Woman. But I did a lot of stuff like car work. But I'm real little. I'm only 5'3" and I weigh 102 pounds. So
wow.
I thought you're so tall and slender. I thought, looking at your pictures, I thought you were like 5'10", almost, you know. I thought you were that tall woman.
No, that's why I doubled Cheryl Ladd and Farrah Fawcett. It worked great. You know,
that's in my book. I do mention that in the book. I run a big shot of you with the gas can and the shark, and I did mention you doubled both of them on Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, I did the pilot. I doubled all the girls in the main pilot we did. Wow. I was like changing wigs and clothes the whole day long. So that was really, you know, interesting for me to do the pilot. Because
you did all 3 Angels, right?
Yes, I did all of them in the pilot, all of them.
Who was the shortest? Kate Jackson?
Yeah, who was the shortest angel?
Kate Jackson was, right?
Well, no, Cheryl was the shortest.
Wow.
She was the smallest. And Kate was kind of in the middle, and Farrah was kind of in the middle. And then we had the girl Charlie from the magazine. She was a model. She was real tall. And then we also had the girl who did the Bond movie, the one I worked on.
Tanya Roberts, interviewed her, cool chick.
Right, Roberts, and she was tall too. So most of the girls were kind of all different sizes, really. So I could double girls because my face looked just like them. They could film me from the side for Cheryl. And Stephanie Powers, I did Heart to Heart, so they could film me from the front for Stephanie. I look so much like her.
Wow.
So, you know.
That's cool.
Now, did you ever do Buck Rogers in the 25th century?
No.
And what about, to get to Steve's beloved Blues Brothers, are you in the mall scene?
Yes.
No.
Yes, we're in the mall scene. That was the hardest because, you know, when they crashed those cars through those plate glass windows, those were real windows. That glass would fly across the mall, stick into concrete.
Oh my God!
So it wasn't candy. It wasn't candy glass. Gene, they didn't use candy glass. They used real glass.
No, we used some mall, and they were the real glass plate glass. And, you know, it kills you right away when you get hit with that stuff. I mean, we were running in front of it and everything, so that was really dangerous.
I heard because it was an underground mall, I heard you guys, the stunt people, were passing out for the car exhaust. Is that true?
Well, not really.
Okay,
I mean,
Great story, though.
Yeah, great story.
Wow.
You know, John.
How many
Belushi
days did
was
you-
in there.
Oh yeah, how was John Belushi? Because I heard he was coking pretty hard at that point.
Yeah, he was. I sat with him for a couple of hours. He was just so depressed.
Why?
Just really depressed. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, but he wasn't happy, wasn't on like, you know, you see him. So I'm sure it was one of those times, you know, he was just not there. So
I heard he
it
burned
was
through his
kinda
septum on
sad
that
'cause
movie.
He's so talented. Huh?
I heard in the book Wired, Bob Woodward claimed he burned through his septum doing so much drugs in that movie. In the middle of his
I'm
nose.
sure.
Wow.
Yes.
How many
I've
days?
heard that a lot, though. You know, I've heard that a lot.
How many
But,
days did you work on that set, doing all the car crashes
Wow.
in the mall?
Couple of weeks, I think we worked on that, and then we moved outside. We shot nights there, and so yeah, I spent some time there in Chicago.
Wow. Now
yeah.
when was it? Was it winter months?
I believe it was, but you know, we were always dressed for wardrobe. So, and if we were in cars, we were okay. And under the mall, it was warm. So, it wasn't snowing or anything, but I do remember it was cold and windy. You know.
That's amazing. Now, what about $6 Million Man? What'd you do on that?
You know, I have no idea. You know, I was working 199 days a year. That's a lot of work
Yeah,
on a
you were
daily
busy
basis.
almost every.
They damn
doing
well
something
better have
every
given
day
you
of
a
the week.
stunt person belt buckle. You
Yeah, I have that.
No, what about you're in one of my favorite underappreciated Heston movies, and every time there's a sniper attack, you never see it. There were so many sniper attacks, they shelved the movie and they reshot it. They reshot a lot of the scenes for TV, but you worked on 2 Minute Warning about the nut just going to shoot up the football game. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, we worked with waivers in that. They weren't stunt people. So we had, you know, maybe 20 stunt people, and we had to run, and these waivers would just run right over us. And I remember some of the stunt guys had to pick me up because they were like football players. And, you know, they knew we were stunt people, so they were going to make sure that we worked our job.
Wow.
Wow.
And then, I remember they threw me up on a hot dog stand, and then everybody jumped on top of me, and I tore the front muscle of my thigh up above from them just jumping on me and me being against a piece of metal on the bar. So that wasn't the greatest, but yeah, that was an interesting show because we worked with people that had no idea about the business. You know, so it was interesting.
Did you have any time with Heston on that? Did you talk to Heston?
Yes, I did. I sat with him for quite a while because he was having glass put in his face. I don't know what he did, but he was the nicest. He was so nice. Just such a great guy, you know, and so flattered to be able to work with him and talk with him. It was really special, you know.
Speaking of special, you were on the Planet of the Apes TV series. Were you an ape or a human?
I was a human.
Wow.
I was a human. I got hit by a horse, I remember. We were out in Malibu Canyon, and I remember the horses running at us, and I got hit by a horse. So that was one of the jobs.
Wow. Wow. No, Gene, this is just amazing to hear. You know what I mean?
You're like the indestructible woman. I mean, you're super
God willing.
invincible. You know, I mean, car crashes, being trampled on.
I'm looking at your resume. It's just amazing. You've done everything.
I know. You know, one job I did, I got flipped and I got pulled over a little bit by someone that didn't let me go. And I was paralyzed for 27 minutes. I laid there and I was just totally paralyzed. I remember the paramedics came in and started sticking my feet with needles. And I thought, oh my God, is this the end?
Wow.
But
by the way,
luckily the swelling went down and I could walk again. But that was scary for me, you know, because I never wanted to stop doing stunt work. And when I broke my back, the doctor said, "You're never going back." I said, "Oh, yes, I am." And the first job I had was a 27-foot 27 stair fall that was all wood stairs. I had no padding on. And Vic Morrow had to slap me, and I had to go down all these stairs. And I remember that the crew gave me a standing ovation for that. They didn't even know I had just come back from breaking my back. So that was really the telltale if I was going to be able to continue doing stunt work, you know, at that time. So that
what movie was that? What did Vic slap you on?
That was Captains and Kings.
Wow. How was he, by the way? Was he cool?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So nice. So nice.
I mean, considering the irony that, of course, he died in a stunt gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I remember. Yeah, it was so sad because he was the nicest guy. He said, "No, Gene, I can't hit you." I said, "Please, you must hit me." I said, "I need that," you know. And he was so scared. He was like shaking. It was really cute. He was such a nice man. Yeah.
Hey, what did you do on Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock?
I did a fight. In a skimpy outfit that had a big, huge 10-pound battery on the back of my back.
We'll need pictures.
And it was all lit up. The costume was all lit up. And I did a fight scene in it. Wow. But I think they cut it out. But they sold my costume for $600 recently on the internet.
The bastards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is your favorite? What is the best stunt? Where do we go for the best Gene stunt of all?
Yeah.
Gosh, you know, I think when I did the, I had to climb up this conveyor belt. It was like 250 feet off the ground. And at the very top, there was nothing to hold on to but a little stick. And a helicopter had to fly in and pick me up and fly away with me on it. Well, you know, when a helicopter comes in and you're that high up and you have hardly anything to hold on to, it's very difficult, and you're really putting your life on the line then. And you just don't dare look down because it's like flying in an airplane. You look down and it's really a long ways away. That's what it was like when I looked down. It was so far up. And I had nowhere to go. You know, if it had come in and blown me off, I had nowhere to go. So that was a dangerous one. And I did another one with a helicopter where I had to be in this little boat and there's two stuntmen with me. And I had to climb up over these stuntmen, hang on to a little teeny ladder, pull myself up. That's very difficult to do from a hanging start.
And how high up was that?
Well, you know, the helicopter was pretty high up. And once that little ladder came down and all the wind and the ocean was all shaking, it was just challenging to say the least. But we did that 2 times. I usually only do a stunt 1 time because I figure if I have to do it 2 times, my heart's not in it. So in the beginning, you got to give it all you can get, you know. So you can get that done, not do it 2 times.
When you're about to do these like high falls or like that helicopter scene, do you get this big rush? Do you get this adrenaline rush?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. You get the adrenaline rush. In fact, when I stopped doing stunt work, that was a real problem for me because I just really craved that adrenaline rush, you know. and you knew if you didn't have it, you were going to get hurt. You knew if you didn't have
those juices going. No, let me ask you. You did Airport 77 at Universal's famed Stage 747, which was at the airplane set.
Yes.
No, you were on that
one that I was one of the first girls to be a second coordinator under Stan Barrett. So I not only had a part, I did the stunt work, I doubled the lead, and I got to co-coordinate the show. So that was a great show for me, you know. But that was the show I also worked with Dar that I went and broke my back on.
Oh, you broke your back in that? Was that when you were doing the slide out of the plane?
No, I didn't get to do that because my back had been broken at that point. So it ended up where I did most of everything inside the plane, and just at the end I broke my back. So they hired a girl to double me going out of the plane. So that worked out good.
Because you're an actress in that as well. You're a character.
What?
You're a character in that. You're actually an actress in that as well as stunts and everything.
Yes, yes. And I did like the end with Burt Reynolds. I was an actress in that too. So you were the driver. You were the
I saw it. I saw a screen grab. You and Dom DeLuise.
Yes.
How was working with him?
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you, from morning to night, he would come up to me and do little tricks, right, and just make me laugh all day long. I couldn't stop laughing between him and Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham. We just had the best time on that show, but I couldn't stop laughing. He's got to be the funniest guy that I've ever worked with. He was awesome.
And
you know,
that's amazing, though. But you were also on the airport. To get back to airport for a moment, you know, Jennings Lang series. You were with everybody on that. I mean, Gil Gerard, Christopher Lee. It was Darren McGavin. What was it? Because when you were on the airport movies, I heard you were on the set for like a month because you would basically have to sit behind whoever was speaking in that scene, right? And establish where you were.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. And at night we'd like meet Jack Lemmon in the hotel for dinner or something. We just had a great time. We were in San Diego. I think we shot then. But it was fun. I mean, I worked with the biggest actors, you know. And of course, they're just like everybody else. They're just people. And they all have their personalities, and that's what you go to movies for, to see their personality. So I had a great time.
I'm jealous. Jack Lemmon was my favorite actor growing up.
Yeah,
the China Syndrome was amazing. And the Odd Couple, the original Odd Couple, the movie, was amazing.
Yeah.
And
The Apartment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I do. But so that must have been so I mean, it's so great to have somebody on our show that has memories of these great figures.
Yeah.
I mean, you worked with them all. Heston.
And James Stewart. I mean, don't forget James Stewart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was he in the movie too? That's amazing. Let me ask you, by the way. You were in one of Jeff Goldblum's first movie, the Sun classic Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
That's right. We shot that up in Utah, and it was like 29 degrees, and I had to run in snow for hours and hours. I remember, I think I almost had frostbite on that movie. But no, we did a lot of work on that. I played a part and did
You're
a
a singer. You're a singer in that. We actually get to hear your dulcet tones. And Meg Foster, one of the most beautiful actresses ever, with those big green eyes.
Yes, her blue eyes. My goodness. Yes. She was dating him at that time, I think.
Goldblum, was she really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
That's amazing. I love that you've done everything, Gene. Are you ever going to write a book?
Well, yeah, I just need a writer.
There you go.
There you go, right here.
We got a writer-journalist, Patrick.
You know my name. I'm your co-host, Jankowitz.
Patrick, what's his name?
Yes. What's his face? My co-host.
I'll be sure to answer when he calls.
Now, Gene, I got to ask you, you are so tough. I mean, just being in a, tying up a shirt, midriff there and a hip, wearing ditto jeans and stuff, and you're like fighting on gravel.
Yeah, the rooftop.
And you're not wearing pads. I mean, how do you do that? I mean,
you can't show the pads because
I can't even walk barefoot on top of gravel without.
I know.
Didn't that hurt like hell?
I was in a slip. I was in a slip on one of those things, if you know, way up on top of this building, and I had to get thrown down onto that gravel roof. Man, that was something. It was all rock, So that was something, yeah. Well, I have a few scars here and there, but they don't show too bad. On Cujo, I had my nose torn off, so I had 47 stitches.
Let's get
Whoa, you're bearing the lead,
baby. Let's talk about Cujo.
How did you get your...
Okay. Real quick, I got a question that just came in. This is from
where?
Ventura.
Okay.
What kind of genre of movies do you watch at night, when you're just relaxing?
Well, I like Avatar. I like murder stories. I like action movies.
Of course.
Things like that.
Do you like American Horror? Do you have Netflix?
I watched American Horror Story last night.
I don't. I quit watching TV and radio about 6 months ago. I just totally gave it up, and I live in the middle of nothing and nowhere. So I just wanted to relax and be at peace, and not be exposed to all the craziness and all the sports stuff. And I love sports. I love gymnastics.
I like your profile picture is so serene. You're just out there.
Yeah, you're sitting zen-like,
the desert,
calm, sweet.
Yeah, it's just beautiful.
You look
Man.
like George
Thank
O'Keefe.
you.
Yeah. So do you
Thank
read?
you.
Do you read a lot?
Yes, I read a lot. Mhm.
Paper,
Yeah.
or do
I
you
read-
have like a Kindle or something?
No, I just paper books. Yeah.
Yeah,
Real
that's
books
the best
with real
way. That's
pages
what
you
I
can
like.
turn. That's
Yeah.
the
I
way
know a
like it.
page turner you should be
I
reading
listen to
just when you thought
music.
it was safe at John's Companion. You're in it. Now, how did you get your nose torn off? Did the dog do it on Cujo?
Yes, the dog did it.
Oh, my
You
God.
know, the dog, when I was laying down in the little teeny car and over a console, my back is laying on top of that console with a stick in there. And he weighs 152 pounds. I weigh 102 pounds.
What?
I had trained the dog to get this little toy that was tied around my neck.
Oh, no.
So we had no problem with that. So when we're shooting it, he's on top of me, and he couldn't get the toy. And they kept saying, "Oh, this is great. Keep shooting." I'm saying, "No, you've got to call the dog off," because I felt his attitude change.
Oh,
you,
he's pissed.
You can feel an animal's attitude change from fun to not fun, from fun to getting mad. And I felt it. And by the time they got him out, he had already started clawing my chest. And I picked up my nose when he started clawing my chest and started chomping for the toy, and he got my nose. Thank God he didn't get my eye or, my jaw, but he got my nose and just torn off where I had a little teeny piece still held on, so it took me 2 hours to go to the hospital, and we waited for a plastic surgeon, and he gave me 47 stitches, and it doesn't even show now. So I was really lucky
Thank God.
because once you lose your nose, they can't put it back on.
No.
So I would have been really in bad shape.
No, Gina, I heard that Cujo, you double D Wallace and Cujo, I heard Cujo
Yes.
was not played by a St. Bernard, but it was actually a German Shepherd in prosthetics, right?
No, we had a stunt guy. Gary Morgan was the guy who wore the animal suit, and he was excellent. So a lot of my scenes with him was Gary running up and hitting the car, different things. I did fight with the dog on the outside of the car. I did fight with him, and he was huge, and I was in heels and stuff, so that was challenging.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
a
were-
big dog. You're
were
only
you-
5'3", and you're telling
Yes.
us 102
Yeah,
pounds.
he was bigger than me. He was definitely bigger than me.
But that was a
You
real
know,
St. Bernard, or was that the German Shepherd who died of heat stroke?
No, honey, I never saw a German Shepherd.
Wow.
I had 5 St. Bernards I worked
Wow, because there was
Yeah,
also
so-
there was because St. Bernards, my sister has 3, because they have bad backs. I heard for a lot of the action scenes before the car, they were using a German Shepherd, and it overheated in the costume and died on the set in Utah.
with. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Well, right after I got bit, the dog died. They called me up
No,
and said the dog's dead. I said, "What?" I said, "Did the dog have rabies?"
Like the movie dog.
No.
We got an
They
old
died
Yeller,
of
old
flow.
Yeller syndrome going here.
By the way, you're related to Punky Brewster. Tell us about
But
that.
she's my granddaughter. Punky
Wow,
Brewster.
you're Punky Dude
Yeah.
Brewster's grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Soleil Moonfry, which means Mino Pellucci's a relative, right?
Exactly.
I
Nina
love-
Palouse is her brother.
Mino
Yes.
is in my book on the Incredible Hulk. He comforts Bill Bixby when Bill Bixby's second wife dies in the show.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I did the Voyager that Nina was star in.
John Eric Hexum, another guy he put a nobody before Brandon Lee. Nobody knew until John Eric Hexum how fatal blanks were if you use
I
them.
know.
Wow. Were you
I
on the
know,
set
and
when
he
that
was
happened?
so nice too. He was
Wow.
so nice and so handsome. Oh my goodness. Just the sweetest guy. He wrote to me, he says, "You're the best stunt woman ever." He wrote that on his picture for me, and I just thought that was so special. When he died, my heart was like broken because, I worked the TV series. I doubled the lead on it, so I knew him pretty well, so it was pretty sad.
We got a phone call coming in. Is it Dan? Do I click on or what?
Wait, Dan, is it Scott Esman? Okay, hold off on Scott. We got fire. We're going to
We're right in the middle of something.
we are,
right here.
so we'll get Scott on in 4 minutes. Gene, I want to hear where people can tell us where we can catch up with you. Give give us where people can find your work and keep up with you. Do you have a site or
Well,
anything?
on Facebook. Facebook is the best thing now. I do have a new group being started that's going to take some time called International Stunt Women's Association.
That's
But
good. We
really,
need that.
Facebook is the best place to find me right now. I have 2 sites on Facebook: Stunt Women by Jean Coulter and just Jean Coulter Stunt Woman.
Oh, wow.
So
And the
I'll post on that.
it's Coulter, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? It's amazing that Punky Brewster has the world's toughest grandmother.
The world's toughest. I mean, I'm thinking you're tougher than Wonder Woman. I mean, 5'3" and 102 pounds, and you're
Sorry.
just,
I'm totally professional this morning.
I mean, trampled, going out of cars, airplane crash. I mean, just about everything that kills
Thank
everybody.
you.
Yeah, and I will add you
I know.
as a friend. So look for Dan Rupp to
That's producer
I'm
Dan.
Producer.
Dan the Man Rupp.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah, you got a friend, Dan.
Yeah,
He holds the ship together here.
You'll have your
Not
porn
with his
loving,
hands, but
your porn
Yeah.
loving, rehab participating, clown dressing Dan Rupp.
as a friend.
He'll be your seediest person on the. It'll be the seediest person on your Facebook page outside of me and Jeff.
so
Funny. You
when
guys are
Pat
so
and I
great.
when we're driving through Palm Springs, we could call you and we could have lunch.
Absolutely. Please do.
Hey, Gene,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
I
We
love
love
it.
you. My crush on you is still alive, as is Jeff's, as is Dan's.
And
Aw,
yeah,
love you.
Thank you.
you're so beautiful. I love your profile picture.
Yeah,
And
Thank you.
that Jojo O'Keefe shot, nobody would know your way around ratchets and air rams. You know? My God,
I
Punky
love you
Brewster,
guys. Thank
we
you
love
so
you.
much for being
Thank
so
you, Gene. We
kind.
love you.
thank you,
you
Gene.
so
Take
much for
care.
coming on.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.
Take care, little lady. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That was effing cool, you guys.
Yeah, that was
I
great.
got Gene Coulter from
Now,
Jaws 2.
now we have another guest, man. We're
Scott
cramming guests in
Essman,
like
we're
crazy.
on.
Okay,
Bring it on. Send Scott into the vocal arena.
on line 2.
Hit line 2. Scott Essman, come into the light, sir. Scott.
Am I doing everything all right?
I don't
Scott.
know.
I see 5 dots.
Scott.
5 green dots.
Don't
Click
give up
on
on
him.
us.
I'm doing what I can do, right? I mean, I already got it set in. It's you hooking it up, right?
It's already hooked up. It should be on your screen. You should be able
It is. It is on my screen.
Okay, you should be able to click on the green dots, and it should be able to come right in.
Scott, can you hear us?
You know what? This mouse sucks, man. I don't know what.
Get Scott on there. Here,
Every
here.
time I try to click
Hit
this
something.
mouse, it's
Get
not.
our guest on. Hurry. We gotta
It's
put
not
you-
working for me.
Scott, can you hear us? Scott. Oi. See, it's either feast or famine. Scott, we're
I'm
trying to
clicking
reach
all
you.
3 of these things, Dan.
Scott.
Wait, I heard a dog bark.
I heard a dog bark. Scott is a dog. Scott, is that you? Scott, keep hitting it till you hear the dog again.
Man,
Scott,
Scott.
you there?
hello,
Scott.
my name's Scott.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
Scott Essman is on the air. Scott's amazing. He's a film historian. His classes, he had the last appearance of Mel Stewart, the director of Willy Wonka and Stanley's cousin. Scott, talk about this project you're working on.
Hello.
Scott.
He was just there.
I know he's just there. What the hell is going on here? No, he's calling on the other line.
All right,
No,
put him
wait,
on.
wait.
Put him.
No, another call is coming
Yeah,
in.
that's one of the cast members of his movie. Scott.
Can you
Are
hook
you
this bug
there?
up?
Oh,
Hello.
there you are.
Speak up, please.
Is that you, Scotty? Beautiful, beautiful.
And you sound like you're in the basement. Can you come up the stairs, please?
Speak, talk loud, boys. This is Scott and the cast of The Hunted Encore. Introduce yourself, boys, and tell us about the project.
Come on, let's get this working,
Come on,
please.
fellas. Let's do this. Promotion. Talk to us. Guys.
Do I have to go in there?
Dan, I'm clicking this on. I got these guys.
He's on hybrid number 2.
Hybrid number 2.
It's doing nothing.
Come on, Captain Caveman. Put him on. Scott, don't give
I
up on
click
this,
and
man.
nothing happens.
I'm gonna have to go in there.
Okay,
I have to get my fat ass
son of
up
a
and
bitch.
Go in there.
I will move out of the way so you can reach it. Scott, come to us. Cast of the Hunted Encore. Talk to us.
Hello. Okay.
Hang on.
This seems to be.
Hang on, Dens. Let's see. Hit it. Whatever Dens telling you to hit. All right, boys. We're eating into the.
We're getting no volume, and I got my volume on my phone on the board is doing nothing. Texacala Jones is watching us.
Hey, Texacala. What a great show today.
Stevie Gomez Blair. Hi, Stevie.
Hey, Gomi. Come on back. Scott, call us in. Call us in, Haunted Encore.
Who else is watching?
Jeff is having a senior moment where he's doing...
Shut up. Okay.
Yes. Hit it again. Come to us, Scott. Come to us.
Okay. Okay, they're going to have to recall. Call
us again, boys. Right now. Hurry. We got 15 minutes to plug your shit.
Okay, Greg. Hey, there's Greg. Greg Gross from our sponsor, Pacific Wine Merchants.
Pacific Wine Merchants.
When you want to...
Breakfast of Champions.
Serving craft beer right downtown Upland at the Metro Link. Come to Pacific Wine Merchants and Cigar Exchange.
And then walk down the street and
a
enjoy.
vast array of fine cigars. Come down and hang out at Pacific Wine Merchants.
That wasn't a metaphor. He really means about fine cigars.
Yes, fine cigars. We really got fine cigars. Come down to Pacific Wine Merchants in downtown Upland at the Metro Link.
Did we get Scott back? Yes, I think we got him. Hang in there, Scotty. We're coming.
What's SMH stand for?
SMA. So much.
What's that mean? What's that metaphor mean?
SM. Let me look it up.
I mean, what's that? That's an acronym. SMH.
Hang on. Let me hit it.
I know what SOL is.
Hang on. I'm looking it up now.
Greg Gross from our sponsor, Pacific Wine Merchants and Cigar Exchange in downtown Upland. Okay. Here we go. I pressed 2.
Oh, it means suck my a-hole. Who wrote that?
Oh, my gosh.
So who wrote SMH?
Okay, one of them hung up.
Oh, come on back, Scotty.
Why does this happen? Is this the mouse problem? Do we have to...
Oh, I hear breathing. Is that you, Scott? Or
no, this is Bob.
Hey, Bob, we got him here.
Bob, we got you. Stay right here, Bob. Tell us all about the Hunted Encore. Give us the log line.
Dude, all I'm hearing is screaming right now. It just sounds like chaos.
Yeah, it is chaotic radio.
Hell of a morning, boy.
Sorry
it is
about
chaotic
the phone
radio.
problem.
I don't know what it is about this mouse here is not clicking. Maybe they need a new one.
Bob, we're like cavemen in a spaceship. We don't know how to pilot it, but we are here. Tell us about your movie.
Fantastic. All right. Well, my movie's one thing. The show is another. The show, this incarnation of the show called The Hunted Encore is masterminded by Ned Donovan. And I'm looking at his text right now. He's just like, they just hung up on me. Call me again. Hung up. Oh, my God.
We're sorry, Ned. It wasn't deliberate. And we didn't mean to hang up on you if we did, Scott. But, Bob, we got you, so you're the point man. Tell us about it. What is The Hunted Encore about?
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
No pressure. No talk.
All right. I'll just be texting Ned on the other side, see if I can talk through him as well. The show itself was developed back in 2001, so it's one of the longest running web shows online, and it's based on user content. The theme of the show, it's kind of a cross between Buffy and Cops. So it's, are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're
here. Tell us your story.
Right.
We're hanging every word, Bob.
Okay,
Keep
good.
going.
All right, so it's vampires and sword fighting and it's comedy and it's just been going on, for like 17 years now.
Wow.
And about 3-4 years ago, we actually did a Kickstarter fundraiser and created a feature film based on the show. And during this time as well, we've had various fans creating content, but also fans who wanted to do more than just create content. They wanted to be affiliates. So we have 4 affiliates all over the country creating their own content. We have one in Portland, one in Ithaca, one in Tampa, and another one in Los Angeles. So Ned Donovan is also a musical theater major, and he has got a lot of friends on Broadway. So his incarnation of the show is an all-musical version of this show.
Really?
It's very, very much Dr. Horrible or Buffy the Musical.
Oh, by the way, excellent choice. Very Whedon-esque. Go on.
Yes, it is extremely Whedon-esque, and the music is absolutely brilliant. So they did one season last year, and I said, listen, if you guys do another season of this, call me. I want in. I was a music major way back, and, I was part of a cover band back in high school. And so this was like, for me, this was like a dream come true, going out and playing with these guys. So I went out to New York for a week, and we shot an entire season, and it's just brilliant. It's up online now, and it's called The Hunted Encore, and you can find it at thehuntedencore.com.
Who's the female lead? Did you have any horror people that we recognize or talented?
You know something? These are mostly Broadway people.
Wow.
The feature film has some people you might recognize. One of the female lead is Monique Ganderton, who has is more of a stunt woman these days. She's doubled virtually every major actress in like X-Men 2. She doubled Mystique.
Wow.
And she was on Smallville, so you'd recognize her. And Gary Casper is another lead.
Oh, we know Gary Casper. He's a
Anthony
stunt guy as well, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Anthony DeLongis is in that as well. So that's the feature film incarnation of the show, which is also online. All of this you could find on our website at www.thehunted.tv.
So it's heroes fighting vampires.
Yeah, it's not necessarily heroes though. These are kind of the uber heroes. These are the superheroes with the superpowers. These are just like regular people. The vampires. The difference in the incarnation of our show, because we created it so anyone can create their own content, is that the vampires have developed an immunity over the years and can only be killed. So sunlight, holy water, stake through the heart doesn't do anything. The only way they can be killed is to have their head removed with a sword or whatever. So there's a little bit of Highlander in there as well, and it justifies all the sword fighting we do.
That sounds kind of rock and roll. Had you had any stunt experience before this, Bob?
I'm a stunt man. I've been in stunts for like 30 years. So
wow. Give us your last name.
So I specialize in sword fighting. I came out originally to LA back in '89, and my first film was Hook.
Wow, Spielberg's Hook. That's a hell of a movie to start
on.
And
I worked on Army of Darkness and a bunch of other shows.
Oh, so my God. What did you do in Army? I was on the set of that in Acton.
Yeah, so I was doing sword fight. They hire a handful of people just to do all the sword fights for the show. And then I starred in my own film called Ring of Steel back in '93. That was through MCA Universal. I wrote and starred in this film, which is kind of a sword fighting, pit fighting movie like Bloodsport with swords.
Was Sam Jones in that? Was Sam Jones in that? Ring of Fire?
No. That was Ring of Steel.
Oh, Ring of Steel. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking Ring of Fire.
That was Joe Don Baker and Carol Alt were in that as well, and I was starring.
Carol Alt.
And then Yeah, and then I went on to do, just a bunch of like low budget actioners. Like there's another show called Dragon Fury. I did Dragon Fury 1 and 2. So I believe in creating my own work, and more importantly, with this show, with The Hunted, I like empowering fans that they can create their own content as well.
That's kind of exciting.
I want to ask you, when you do a lot of sword work, because I was taught by Scott Leva how to sword fight.
Yeah, I know Scott.
Can you tell him you on Jeff Sargent's radio show? I used to go to his house and do flips on his trampoline. He taught me fencing and sword fight. He even taught me how to do car hits when I had my Plymouth Valiant. This is back in the 80s. I bought my Spider-Man and a Captain America outfit from him.
Oh, yeah.
But I was wondering if the swords, do you use a lot of aluminum? Aluminum swords?
I use aluminum, it's when I can afford it, yeah.
It's like I work in a fabrication shop. I was going to make my own, because I do the pirate fair all the time, and do some fire, because they make that clang for like a live action thing. They got that ring to it.
I'll tell you, it's changed a lot in 30 years. When I started, there was only one place up in San Francisco, American Fencer Supply, that provided swords, but now you can find them just about anywhere, online or late night TV. They're a dime a dozen. So,
Yeah.
but aluminum is a little harder to come by, and yeah, there's some places that in LA that specialize in it.
Well, I would just make my own at my fabrication shop.
Holy hell!
Well, that's awesome. I got to get your number then.
Yeah, let's definitely hook up, man. Because like I said, I love sword fighting, and man, if I could do some a little sizzle reel with you or something, that'd be awesome.
Dude, well, that's what this show is about. So the Hunted, I created this because I was teaching a stage combat class. It's a sword fighting class. And I wanted my students to be able to have a venue to perform. You know, you can only learn so much without getting some practical experience, and I think that's the most important. So I was like, okay, how do we create something that you guys could be a part of? And back in the day, it was like we were thinking about maybe doing a cable access show, but then I thought, this web show series. They didn't even know what to call it at the time. This is a cool idea. So the episodes are shot. They're only 5 to 10 minute little vignette episodes. Go out and check them out online. And it's for people who is just like, something, I want to do a stunt reel, but I want to be a part of something bigger. Or I want to try directing, or I want to try acting, or I want to try, whatever, filmmaking, editing. So it's an opportunity for people to try their hand at being a part of web series without all of that, creating it from scratch.
Wow. But
also, it's awesome.
And let me ask, this is true. Welcome from caller
Wait a second,
2.
is that Ned?
Yeah, Jeff,
That's
pick
me.
up line 2.
Ned has just entered the arena. Okay. And by the way, Robert, quick question before you talk about Ned. Robert, the IMDb claims you did visual effects on Force Awakens, the Star Wars movie. Is that true? Or
That's correct, but I'm not allowed to say what I did.
Wow. Nice.
Okay, and we're gonna. You know what?
NDAs in LA are out of control. I'll tell you.
Oh, all right. I'm guessing it has to do with the death of Han Solo.
No, you know what? F the system. We're gonna go over today.
Let's go 7 minutes over. I want to hear what these
At
boys
least 7 minutes.
Yeah,
over.
pull your dollars
At
out
least.
for our overtime.
Yeah.
Ned, talk to us. What did you do on this fine film?
Poor Dan has to take all the beatings
Pick
here.
up number 2. Pick up line 2.
I do. I click it.
That's Ned. He's on the air with us. As
Hey,
well.
I'm here.
Absolute
Oh, both of them are on?
Yeah, we got 2 of them on.
Yes.
We did it.
I
Hit the
did
hand
it.
clapping.
We
Push the
lost,
hand
That's why
clap
they call
button,
it
Dan.
chaotic radio.
we lost a lot of good men getting you on the air, including Private Scott Essman, but his sacrifice will make it all worthwhile. Ned, what are you doing?
We'll play a bugle in his honor.
Or eat a bugle in his honor. There we go.
Good God.
All right, Ned, tell us, what do you do on this fine film?
So I'm the producer, writer, and one of many people involved in stunt coordinators, and
Wow.
then I'm an actor in the film.
Ah. Go on.
So actually, Ned is Hunted Encore. Like I said, is another inception. He's an affiliate of the main part of the show. So this whole musical spinoff is his baby.
Wow, because you're doing the Hunted Origins and the Hunted Encore. So when is the series?
I'm doing Encore. I actually have no connection to the Hunted Origins, except for that Bob gave me his blessing to do a musical about killing vampires.
Wow,
Yeah.
Ned and Bob.
So there's many different levels to the show. Like I said, there's fan content, there's a movie, and there's affiliates. And Ned has been part of the affiliate program creating. It's kind of like, CSI New York and Miami and LA and Las Vegas. So Ned is in charge of the Hunted Encore, which is the all-musical version of the show.
Was it weird to take your vampire franchise and make it a musical consecutive?
Ah, yes.
Well,
Bob gets the credit for that
there,
thought process.
Yeah,
This is
when you put that
amazing,
out
you
there,
guys.
when you put a show and a theme out there, and where anyone could do anything to it, sometimes you never know what people are going to do to your child. Crazy things. And I am just so impressed at what Ned has been able to do, and the music is bitchin'. I mean, it is, you got top Broadway singers, and it was like rock star, fantasy weekend for me to show up and work with these guys.
That's cool. We need more of this, man.
I've never met.
Hey, Ned, talk more about the people you got involved for the music.
Yeah, so we did season 1 a year ago, and we had this awesome music team of up-and-coming composers of rock music and musical theater. We had a couple creative team members from things like Hamilton the Musical and a couple of other big Broadway shows right now. And so when we started gearing up for our second season, we decided to work with one of those composers exclusively. His name is Preston Max Allen. He's an amazing rock composer, and he composed 6 of our 8 tunes for season 2. And so for season 2, we've got this team of people like, I mean, beyond Bob. Bob's probably our big name draw guys. But so Andrew Mayer, who's one of our main characters, just finished up in the Tony Award-winning musical Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812.
Wow.
And he's an actor / stuntman / world-renowned violinist, weirdly enough.
Wow. That's a combo of that, man, all of that in one package.
Yeah, so if you watch our show, episode 6, it starts with Andrew riding a motorcycle into a warehouse and then pulling out an electric violin.
Wow.
Now that is cool. That is, not every stuntman can do that, you know?
No, he's one of a kind. And then our music supervisor, Marcus Thorne Bagala, he writes a ton of the music for NPR's This American Life. He wrote music for Ray Donovan. He wrote music for The Affair. So we have this all-star music team that's putting together an original soundtrack of 8 tunes written by Preston Max Allen that are just out of this world. I mean, our soundtrack's going to be available probably in the next couple days on iTunes and Amazon and all those.
But
I'm waiting for the stage show.
But I'm kind of blown away.
I want to be part of that.
I've never. That sounds great. But Robert Chapin, I've never seen a stunt guy who also does visual effects. That's amazing to me. You worked on American Beauty.
I've been doing it for 30 years. I was one of the first. Yeah.
Wow.
And guys, he sings songs in my new season, so you can even see him be a Billy Idol.
That's bitchin'. All right.
We're also. I've just seen her IMDb. We're going to have to get Monique on one of these days as well. But you guys, tell us about how does a stuntman get into visual effects or vice versa?
You know something? It all happened about the same time. 30 years ago, I was, I started doing sword play at Renaissance fairs and hanging out there. So it was always a hobby, and I just love visual effects. So by the time I moved to LA, I kept, I didn't drop anything. I just wanted to do everything. So that's why my IMDb looks like 5 different people. And it took me a while to convince them I was the same person.
Wow.
Robert, I think...
Yeah, I thought it was an accident. As soon as I saw that, a stuntman doing visual effects, no way.
Robert, you got a pirate get up. I mean, we got to hit these Renaissance fairs or something and do a little sword battle. You know, I go with Zoltar.
If you do stunt stuff, I need to talk you into shooting an episode of The Hunted for us.
Yeah, wow. Jeff usually does sword battles in the bathhouse in West Hollywood.
Yeah. He also charges homeless men $1 a piece to kick him in the nuts.
No, look, I do my pirate get up. I go as like an Arab pirate. I go as Zoltar, and
why don't we just say a pirate? We don't have to.
No, I customize
address
my
your
own,
letters too.
I customize my own swords, and like I said,
so to speak.
I gotta kill you, man. But Robert, friend me on Facebook, and we'll hook up phone numbers and all that.
All right.
Yeah, and like I said, I could go to the shop and make us a cool set of aluminum swords that we could do some live action.
You did NTSF SUV LA. Tell us about the San Diego show from Adult Swim you did stunts on.
I love that show. That show is so fucking insane, man.
You worked with Kate, what's her face?
Hey, where's the horn at?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here. Okay.
Party foul. Tell us about that, you guys. Was that a fun show to do? Did you tape it in San Diego?
Dude, yeah. Vladimir bowled me in. I don't know if you know Vladimir Tevlovsky. He's a great guy. He pulled me in because I could double the. I can't remember the character's name, but there was a wedding where there's a sword fight breaks out, and I fight against Angela. Oh, can't remember her last name either. Right. But it was just a blast. I wish I could remember the character's name. And they did a second series where he's selling swords on TV, and he has to fight off a bunch of SWAT guys, So
Who did you double on Scooby-Doo?
In Scooby-Doo, I doubled everyone, actually.
You doubled Shaggy and everybody? Wow.
I doubled Shaggy initially, and then they were just like, well, we have to do pickups of all these rock climbing scenes. Can you fit in the Thelma's get up or
you doubled
how about
Velma
Freddie? You know,
in
it's
costume.
Like, so I ended up doubling a little bit of everybody on that show.
God,
When Linda Cardellini finds out she was played by a man, she's going to cry her eyes out.
Now which Scooby-Doo movies?
The one with the James Gunn written one.
No. I want to know which Velma, because the other one they had like a flat.
The hot one from the movie, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, the bigger tit Velma.
Well, don't be crass. Sorry, my co-host is a
all
little
the
exuberant.
questions I was ready to answer right now, that really wasn't one of them.
Yeah, he needs you to talk about Linda Cardellini's chest. Hold on.
I'm crazy about Velma. When I see her at conventions, when I see people cosplay these girls with Velma, I'm like right on it, man.
You did one of the big. You did one of the big. One of the first Power Rangers ripoffs, which for some reason still runs on Channel 13 at 6 in the morning on Saturdays. Talk about tattooed teenagers from Beverly Hills.
Oh, good God.
Oh,
Alien fighters from Beverly Hills. It was like this no-budget Power Rangers ripoff, and you did stunts.
Oh, you know something? It wasn't actually. It was a big budget. It was
Deke
Entertainment tried to do their version of Power Rangers.
Wow,
and
that was big budget.
I can tell you stories about this show.
Please.
We ended up shooting at Raleigh Studios, 40 episodes, and I was a
Across from
coordinator
Paramount.
on the show.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a crazy show. I mean, they hired 4 guys, and bless them, you know, their Power Rangers looked the part, but only one of them had some martial art training.
Oh man.
So when you go in and you have to block these fight scenes out with, you know, a bunch of guys who hadn't done any stunt fighting or, you know, much martial arts, you know, one girl could cartwheel. So, you know, for the first 5 or 6 episodes, you know.
We did a cartwheel.
Oh yeah. That's a great.
Yeah, she would cartwheel in, hit the monster, and cartwheel out. You know, so yeah, that was magical time, and I could tell you all about. There's too many stories with that show.
I got to ask though, as one of the monsters in the suits, I assume you were kicked in the nuts more than once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because one of my friends.
That goes with the territory. You guys do stunts. You know what
yeah. It's painful, but I kept running the monsters from Power Rangers, and they would tell you. They would shoot in without permits in Griffith Park, and they were always kicked in the nuts because, like you said, most of them had no stunt experience.
Yep.
Putty patrol, man. Kick him in the Z spot, you know?
Wow.
Nut kicks are easy. Nut kicks are easy. Go.
Yeah, my wife is good at that.
VR Troopers.
Dan's a better husband.
VR Troopers, too. They all filmed in the same areas.
Dad, are you enjoying this?
Hey, you guys, you got to give us a story on Army of Darkness because we love Sam Raimi here and Bruce Campbell.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah, we got 2 guys on.
We were shooting Army of Darkness at the same time we were shooting Hook, so we would work
all night
from
long.
8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then right up to the valley.
Acton, right? Acton.
All night long. So yeah, that went on for a couple weeks at least.
Did you do?
And then we shot at some studios in Culver City. Doing some of the interior rear screen projection stuff.
Oh, I didn't know you went to Bill Mesa's Introvision, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's pre-CG. I covered that for Fango. Let me ask you, when you were did you do horse stunts on Army of Darkness?
Did I do horse stunts?
Yeah,
No.
because when I was on set, it was in Acton. You guys were shooting in Acton at that big inflatable castle. You remember that?
Yes.
Across the valley, across the canyon, was Shambhala, the Tippi Hedren Lion Preserve. And the Santa Anas were kicking in, and it was blowing the sounds and the smells of the lions at the horses. And the horses were freaking out. They wouldn't work. They felt they could smell a lion.
Well, they smelled death. They're going to be hunted. You know?
And they did not want to perform, and it was a major problem for them. I mean, did you see any of that? And did you work with Patty Tallman on that?
Yeah, I know Pat Tallman for a long, long time. Did not work with Pat on that show. I just remember the bitter all night, sitting in chainmail doing take after take, and we did thousands of fights for that show that ended up on the cutting room floor. So yeah, it was a blast though.
How was Bruce Campbell?
Great show. Bruce Campbell was a blast, and he really put in the time to rehearse the sword fights. You know, he wasn't going to just like pass it off to someone else to double him. So he would show up. We were actually training at it was back in the day. It was Westside Fencing Center. at the Helms Bakery building, and that's where we did a lot of our training.
Okay, I hate to be a party pooper.
Man, this party's just getting started.
Oh,
man.
come on, Mom.
Hey, man. Like,
he's our exec producer, so give him.
Hey,
we're just the number
I
one
could
show
too.
on
And
Chaotic
Ned,
Radio.
Ned, we enjoyed your appearance too. Only because as exec producer, Dan let us go a little over. We don't want to get him in trouble.
He
so.
catches hell from the owner, and then, everybody's got to realize that the
And I
Jeff
gotta
Sargent
deal
show
with
is making Chaotic Radio number one.
I could see how you guys got the name Chaotic Radio.
Please, hey, extend our apologies to Scott Essman. We expect you guys to come back on, and please pimp him now. Where can we? Give us your site.
Yeah. Plug
Pimp away, boys.
Plug.
The site where you get a hold of The Hunted, the original show, the feature film, The Hunted Encore, the musical, is all through thehunted.tv. That's www.thehunted.tv.
And season 2 of The Hunted Encore is available at www.thehuntedencore.com. Plus, we're on that Facebook and all that good stuff.
Thanks, boys. Ned and Bob, thank you so much.
We got to get you in the studio and make it a real party,
Yeah.
Well,
we could do a live
show in New York.
So. We could stream
for me.
Oh man,
Ned, you got to better leave now then if you want to be on Friday.
Okay, I just
get your ass over here.
I just friend requested you on Facebook right now.
Yeah, and once I get the approval from the censors, I'll give the feed to Jeff, and Jeff will share it, and then you guys will get it.
You'll see.
Wonderful. Censors. What do we do? Did we say any bad words? We can say them now.
We can say any fucking words we want to on this show.
I want to thank Ned and Bob, and we want to thank Loveless, and we want to thank Gene Coulter. Everybody, you guys, especially at the end of the Bad and Cleanup. We appreciate everything. Scott Essman, we still love you.
You guys are welcome anytime on our show.
The Jeffrey Sargent Show wants you back. Thank you very much, fellas. Thank you, Dan.
Yes. What a jam-packed show.
Jam-packed, baby.
Action-packed.
New York, Los Angeles,
England, across the pond, Australia, up north towards Ventura.
All across the world.
San Diego. We got a lot of listeners all over the place. So,
where in the world
thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the #1 rated morning
Robert
show.
and Ned are now known in England and Australia.
Now, whatever you do to live, drive, and survive, boys, have a good one. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
And we are out. Nicely done. Were they amazing? Were they amazing? He did visual effects.
I can still hear you.
Oh shit! Hey, so,
we haven't gone anywhere.
We thought we were off the air. Yeah, hey,
that was awesome though.
No, hey guys, literally, you're amazing. Thank you both, and please thank Scotty Essman for us. Scott, I'm so sorry that we're playing this.
If you guys ever want a song, let us know. We'll send it your way.
All right.
All right, boys. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us on the Jeff Sargent Show. Take care.
This song is for Gene.
This song is for Gene Coulter. Hey, Neil, hold on, I'm almost there. All right, ladies, gentlemen, and whatever you do to live, drive, and survive, we thank you from Chaotic Radio.
Oh, yeah, #1.
Signing off, baby.